Welcome to part 2 of our post-E3 impressions. We talked for a long time about the other things. Let's talk even longer about the others. It's Sony time, and Last Guardian lives.
Sony easily. I think nobody will argue that Sony had the best conference of the show.
Sony was my highlight. Yeah.
Sony makes me want a PS4 now.
Yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on a lot of this stuff, but that's mostly just due to my personal preferences. I understand why everybody was super excited about a lot of the stuff.
You've been sitting out too long, Ted?
Here's sort of a thing with Sony's conference that I'm hearing a lot of. And not a lot of it is actually exclusive beyond being a timed exclusive. So they're kind of doing that thing Microsoft was doing for a while now.
Well, that's to be expected at this point between two of basically the same machine. It's more of they announced what we wanted to hear more than Microsoft did.
Yeah, it's like The Last Guardian is happening. What kind of game is that? Because this conference is actually the first I've heard of it.
It looks like a puzzle platformer.
I didn't
with a giant griffin beast thing.
It looked cute. It was a very slow-paced demo, which I suppose was what I think might have turned me off because I haven't played Shadow of the Colossus. It's on my to-do list, but
whoever. Oh wait, is it connected to the Shadow of the Colossus?
It's made by the same people.
It's Team Ico.
Yeah, but is it like
the game they've been working on since that game came out?
Actually connected?
We'll have to see, but it probably is.
Yeah, it's like, those games, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus are really great. But they're experience games. They're an experience.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to putting it, because I'm going to say right now, I see the appeal.
Yeah, it's not like The Journey, which is 100% you play it for the
experience.
There's an objective. You can beat the game, and it's fun, but it's also one of those types of games that's hard to really sell in the conventional ways.
Absolutely.
It's like you have to play the game to really understand how good they are and why they're good. It's hard to just show someone the game and say, this is awesome. You can do that with an action game or a fighting game. Yeah,
you know what? You're saying that, and that's exactly kind of the vibe I got from Last Guardian as someone who doesn't know much about this whole thing.
My recommendation, Ted, is you got a PS3. Go on the PSN sometime.
I own the Shadow of the Colossus PS3 bundle. It's I own a lot of PS3 games that I probably should get around to playing. It's just
sometime when you're in the mood for something calm and immersive, just boot it up and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I'm just one of those guys that, for Shadow of the Colossus, in case, I love the boss. I love the Colossus battles. I love getting immersed in that. But don't ask me to get into a 5-hour-long discussion about the meaning of Shadow of the Colossus, because I'm not that interested, and I don't really care.
Well, on certain aspects, again, your mileage may vary, but
yes,
I loved that game, and I loved Ico, and then I fell out. I got sidetracked halfway through Ico, however it's pronounced, and I just haven't been able to play.
Talk about A now.
I can't get back into the middle of that game. I have to start over, and starting over just, oh man.
Oh, that was like me with Chrono Trigger. I got halfway through Chrono Trigger 3 fucking times before I finally sat down and finished it.
How do you stop Chrono Trigger?
I don't, what was it? I think it was after the dinosaur part.
I imagine what actually happens, Ryan, is that the cogs start to rust and then they get stuck, and, Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that really...
wait, hold on, I had a question about Last Guardian, how long had it been since they had shown gameplay of that? Or
they showed a trailer for it like 4 years ago.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
There's a reason why it's always being brought up every E3 until this one, because people are...
And did they announce... I don't really remember. Did they announce any kind of release period at all?
Next year.
Next year? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the bullshit meter pointing at for that?
Probably not. They've had plenty of time. So.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that it comes out next year. Probably holiday next year, so I'll probably see it at one more E3.
Oh, I could have sworn I saw March 2016.
No, it just said 2016.
Okay, never mind.
I get the sense from these developers that they kind of run on Valve time. So you never know. It's like one of those really artsy kind of games where you can tell there's basically no publisher pressure going into it. So it's just developers trying to develop the best game possible with very little restriction, and that results in games that are really awesome but take an absurdly long time to come out.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I again, this is something that I don't fully get, but I get that people are excited about it. So, Horizon Zero Dawn looked...
Robot dinosaurs.
It looked okay, too.
What the fuck was that tree dinosaur thing?
I couldn't really tell what type of game was it supposed to be. Was it an action RPG? Was it a Monster Hunter type thing?
It looks kind of like a more actiony Xenoblade in a sense.
I got more Tomb Raider than anything.
It seems to me like kind of a survival action game. Yeah, Tomb Raider is a good comparison, only way weirder and less standard.
It's post-apocalyptic robot dinosaurs.
Raider.
It's like, okay, this is interesting, it's imaginative, and it's that is completely new IP, is it?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I never heard anything else.
Okay, that's good. That is a good thing to have as your number 2 item. We have a game that people have been looking forward to for ages and ages and ages, even if it is from a developer in a series that is more cult than mainstream, and then you have a completely new idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much did they show in terms of gameplay for this?
They did a really long CG trailer, and then it went into a pretty decently sized gameplay trailer too. One thing that I did like about Sony's conference over a lot of the other conferences is that they didn't have too much of people talking. There was plenty of people talking, but they had an equal. They had, at the very least, the ratio was 50-50. Or there was more gameplay than talking, which was another.
Okay, they paced it better, basically.
Yes.
That's good.
It had a lot better pacing.
It's like I haven't cared as much about watching Sony's stuff ever since Kevin Butler just vanished, but they still have it. They still have some idea of how to present themselves to the gaming community, and that's good.
That said, I thought the protagonist of Horizon Zero Dawn was a little chatty.
Oh no, I was getting Xenoblade vibes actually, because she kept on I kept on getting, now it's Rhine time, now it's Rhine time, now it's Rhine time. What a bunch of jokers.
Yeah, I'm going to say that, okay? That doesn't remind me of Xenoblade. That reminds me of Blades of Time. I think it was called Blades of Time anyway. It's this really not quite good hack and slash shooter action game that's sort of like X-Blades, except supposedly better. And I tried it out, and the main character just wouldn't shut up, and she had this horrible fake Lara Croft voice going on, and it's like, no. It wasn't even the horrible lack of kinesthetic feedback from attacks that turned me off to that game. It was the chatty character that wouldn't shut
I
up.
understand. It is very important to make sure it's clear that your character has a personality of any sort. But the thing is, everything that she was saying is stuff I say when I'm battling a giant monster.
Okay, you want to know something? We already have a perfect game that shows you how to do that. It's called Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Do you know what the character does in that game? He says a line exactly one time when he reaches a specific point in the game, and then he never says it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do that.
Yeah.
Bayonetta doesn't talk as much as this girl did. She has her quip in the beginning of the fight, and she has her quip at the end of the fight.
Bayonetta only talks during cutscenes, though.
That's what I'm saying. She has her quip before the beginning of the fight.
Here's the thing. The game development and the gaming community are like jumping on this fad over the last 2 generations, where it's better to have people talking during gameplay than cutscenes. Even if it means something stupid like forcing you to walk through an interactive cutscene where you're stuck in a hallway and you're walking and talking is happening. And
True, but there's also a difference between engaging conversation and bounce pad.
Yeah, but it's like it's an annoyance to me because I don't really think that's better. I think it's just trying to have a cutscene without having a cutscene for the sake of not having a cutscene. Because you're totally misunderstanding the complaints about games that have too many cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutscenes.
Yeah,
such a stupid word too when you think about it. Like, where did it come from?
It's a cut in the gameplay. That's a
thematic
thing.
Because the camera is cutting around during a scene. There's no special meaning to it. It's a word that applies to video games because developers while they're writing a game, are still going to think of the rest of the game as scenes. This is what happens here. This is what happens here. This is the significance of this particular place that you go through. It's all scenes to them, and that's not a bad thing. That's just how the creative process for games works.
Yeah. BrainScratch comes, you learn shit.
Yep.
You do?
Okay.
I'm more impressed that we actually went into a minute in that.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
moving. Not to hover too long on. Hitman.
Hitman's. We'll talk about that during
Square.
Square. Street Fighter V. They showed that for about like 2 minutes. It looked like a Street Fighter game.
It looks nice. They're bringing back Birdie.
Gotta
and
say,
Cammy.
they say here comes the new challenger, and they bring back Birdie and Cammy. That's a cheat.
Wasn't Cammy in the last
A
game?
cheat. Cammy
Cammy
was in
is
almost
in
every
all the-
Street Fighter. And
yeah,
Birdie
okay.
wasn't. Birdie
Now-
was originally an original Street Fighter character, and he was made more prominent in the Alpha series.
Here's the thing about Street Fighter's rosters. Okay, they honest to God tried to have a completely new roster in Street Fighter 3, and people hated it because they all wanted the Street Fighter 2 people to come back. So Street Fighter 4 basically meets everyone halfway by bringing back all the Street Fighter 2 people, at least in Super Street Fighter 4, and then bringing back all these characters from all these other games that didn't necessarily have those characters in it. But my worry about Street Fighter 5 is, are people going to be able to adjust to the inevitably smaller roster at the start of Street Fighter V's life cycle? Because there's no way they're fitting all the characters that they have in Ultra Street Fighter 4 into this game at the start.
And roster's such an important thing in a fighting game too. Like it's the main source of content is the amount of characters that you have to play as. So
yeah,
like,
do you risk spoiling the audience with the gargantuan size of Ultra Super Hyper Street Fighter 4 Unlimited Turbo HD Remix Arcade?
And what's the benefit of buying the game when you know eventually, because Capcom, there's going to be a Super Street Fighter 5 or an Ultra
Well,
Street
no,
Fighter
no.
5.
I'm going to defend them for that, because at this point, they seem to have learned their lesson about that, and they're making all the expansions, all the content changes, DLC, as well as retail releases. That's the last two ones.
But you could either buy $60 now and pay $20 for DLC, or you could wait a year and pay $60 for all that content.
But that's a more reasonable choice, though, than say, I didn't buy BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma because I knew the way Arc Sys works. They're going to release a new version that I'm going to have to buy retail to get the new content. It's just how they work. And the only time that wasn't true was the Persona 4 Arena series, where they sort of got around that by making it a full sequel, even though it really was very, very similar to an extended re-release.
A glorified expansion.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of whether or not do you absolutely need the game then and there now for Street Fighter 5.
And all the hardcore fighting fans will.
Yes.
Oh,
it
of
up
course.
starting
Of course they'll bitch about it, but they'll buy it anyway because we're all sheep.
Yeah,
well, it's not even a matter of that. I mean, there are hardcore players that are legitimately going to get this day one because they want to get their hands on the new fighter as soon as they can.
Yeah, but
Right.
I can't fault Street Fighter if they do the expansion pack thing, because other games have done expansion packs, and we don't say, oh, we're not going to buy the next Elder Scrolls game because there's going to be a Game of the Year edition later on that has all the DLC. We just buy the Elder Scrolls edition when we want to.
I just laugh when 5 different games release a Game of the Year edition. It's like, no, only one of you gets to do that. Stop.
If the initial release has enough content to justify a $60 price tag then and there, expansions don't bother me.
Yeah. But, it's just how much content will Street Fighter V actually have, and we have no word on that yet. And that's what makes me worried. Because I have Ultra Street Fighter 4 right on my shelf over here. It has so many goddamn characters. It also has a bunch of the DLC costumes that they released before Ultra came out, because it's the retail copy. And because of that, it's like, I don't know how much mileage I'll get out of Street Fighter V until more stuff comes out.
Well, it's a PC and PS4 exclusive, so.
No, it's just, it bothers me when they say it's exclusive, except if you play it on the PC, yeah.
Well, no, there is some merit to that, because there are less people who have a PC that can play Street
Oh
Fighter
no,
Five.
I know. Most people don't like playing fighting games on PC. Apparently, like it's not a good way to do it most of the time.
I think it Skullgirls.
I think it's because
I think
it's ultimately it's harder to get it running smoothly on a PC than it is just popping it into a console.
You really need 60 frames per second for a fighting game because frame data is important. The number of frames that you have to work with in your moves, your reaction time, it all comes down to frame rate.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, the way you're talking about it, like, if you don't care about that stuff and you're just going to be playing the game casually, you're probably going to be getting it on a console anyway. So
yeah, but even on the consoles, fighting games don't dare go below 60 frames per second unless they really want to be shat on. They aren't other genres that can get away with their supposedly cinematic 30 frames per second in gameplay. They need that 60 frames per second. So even on the PS4, this is going to be 60 frames per second. There isn't going to be a performance difference that matters between PC and PS4, but there are going to be more people who want to play this game that own a PS4 than a PC that can run it.
Okay. Next up is You Can Draw Dicks, the game.
Dreams?
Van Gogh's take on Gmod.
I still have no idea what this is even supposed to be, other than
it's probably like a movie maker studio made by Miyamoto.
Yeah,
it's called Dreams, just for the audience.
Yeah.
I think me being the artsy fuck I am, it's gonna probably be the easiest for me to explain this. It's pretty much your ability to create and animate anything you want. And it's gonna be dicks all over the place.
Yeah, dicks.
Okay. You know what? People joke about that in a lot of creative things, and to some extent it's true. But there are a lot of really creative people who take advantage of games like Little Big Planet and probably this to make really amazing shit.
It's just like it's the easiest joke to make, and it's the most immediate joke you make. If anything gives you some sort of creative freedom, anything at all, the first joke is always going to be a dick joke.
Yeah.
How many dicks have you guys found in the Miiverse stage?
I haven't found a dick yet.
I got one yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I saw an Illuminati one within probably 5 minutes after first playing the Miiverse stage.
There you go, Illuminati dick.
But it, like, Dreams looks like it's going to be very fun for people like me, the people that love creating stuff, and especially since you can do it collaboratively at the same time.
Yeah,
or you can pass it on to the next person, and they add more to it.
Here's the thing, though. Even if you're not the creative type, a game like Little Big Planet is really fun to play because all of that user-created content is there. And it's not as hard as some people make it out to be to find the good stuff.
Right, well, no, this is pretty much about creating in general. It's marketed more towards the creative stuff. It's not really a game.
It's not like Mario Maker, where you could not know about making games and just play what other people have.
Yeah, but it's not only going to be the creative people who want to get the game and enjoy what other people make. They just probably won't be as many in something straight up gamey like Little Big Planet.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what incentive there is to buy the game for people who aren't creative, as opposed to just watching YouTube videos.
Well, not everyone who isn't creative doesn't have a really strong appreciation for other people's creative stuff. Like, it's really you say just watching YouTube videos. Yeah, that's an option, but there's probably going to be some sort of some lack of flexibility in there that just watching a video wouldn't allow you to overcome.
Watch this video and you get a free 12-month subscription to PS Plus. Oh. I think I will.
Well, we'll see as they release more about it, but it's interesting to say the least.
Okay, someone want to explain to me Destiny: The Taken King?
I don't get.
It's an expansion.
It's an expansion.
What's the appeal of Destiny?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna.
It's an RPG shooter.
Destiny
basically
looks pretty fun.
So much grinding.
You said pretty early on when that came out that it wasn't really newbie friendly, right?
No, it was not.
Okay, but once you're over the hump, I can see it being a really interesting, massively multiplayer online thing.
Especially if you have friends who will go on like raids with you and stuff.
Yeah,
my brother Mark was really disappointed with Destiny. Like he's not I wouldn't classify him as having the same taste that I do. There are some things that we have similarities on, but after he gave Destiny maybe a weekend, and he spent like 8 hours a day on both of those days, and he just immediately like rejected it as like this is Halo, you know.
Well, it is Bungie.
Yeah, I figured that much.
Fair enough. 8 hours over 2 days, 8 hours a day over 2 days is a fair enough time to evaluate an MMO and see whether or not it's your thing. But here's the thing about MMOs in general. You really need to put in a lot of time yourself to figure out whether or not it's any good. You can't just try it for 2 hours and form an opinion.
This is nothing like Donkey Kong.
It is a really, really, really hard subset of games to evaluate. And I can't straight up tell you, even if I've played a game a long amount of time, whether or not it will appeal to you. That's why I just gave, when we were talking about Old Republic, I just gave a standard warning that it probably wouldn't fully appeal to you, regardless of which side of the fence you were on. Single-player RPG, massively multiplayer RPG. And that's the best I can do. I can't tell you whether or not you would like it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
What was Firewatch supposed to be exactly?
I don't even remember.
I think Firewatch was one of those games they just passed on, like it was like a quick few seconds and then you move on. Because there were a few games that did this.
Oh yeah, like Ratchet and Clank. They didn't give any major attention to Ratchet and Clank at all during the Sony conference.
No, I was a little shocked by that, honestly.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, no, think about it. I don't think they did talk about Ratchet and Clank at all, did they?
It was in the sizzle reel, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Especially
Ratchet and
since that
Clank,
movie's coming out soon too.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank though is a difficult gaming franchise to really market at this point because I don't think it's really yearly, but it's gotten to that point where there's not a whole lot of new stuff between games to show.
Well, the game that they're doing now
is a sort of reboot.
Yeah, of the first, it's like a remake-ish of the first game, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm surprised that they didn't show more than like the 30 seconds combined of the sizzle reels they did.
Yeah, it's just, I love Ratchet and Clank. I haven't played the whole series though, because after a few games, things just got kind of repetitive.
Yeah,
and
well, we are so close to Pixar quality on platforms.
No, I remember the first PS3 Ratchet and Clank, which was the one that I played most recently. Looked beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
beautiful.
This looks even better, Lewis.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, I really want to play it, even just for that. But, Ratchet and Clank is one of those series where I have to put it down every now and then and just give myself a few years before trying another one.
Oh, no, I can totally understand that because, I loaded up New Super Mario Bros. U a few days back. Well, actually, just yesterday. But
it felt like such a long time
and,
ago.
I couldn't get past, World 2 when I first played that game, in 2012, but having not really touched a 2D Mario since then, I had a lot of fun. I played through 5 straight worlds in a row.
Yeah.
You might get that same feeling if you went back and played the new Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, there's an element of burnout there because there were just a lot of games released in a relatively short span of time. But by the time this new Ratchet and Clank comes out, I'm pretty sure that burnout will have worn off, and I can fully enjoy it again.
Yeah.
Just going back to Firewatch for a second, I think that was... I just rewatched the trailer for it. It was only about a minute long. I don't know what the point of it is, but I'm looking at it, and I think it's VR.
Okay. Yeah, I remember they were talking about that. It was a PC game, and they're porting it over or something.
Yeah, it's first person, but it seems one of those you get more out of it with the VR system. So, virtual reality, and I have no strong
that's
opinion on
nice.
it.
I think we need to talk about. I think the
We'll talk about World of Final Fantasy at the Square Enix, but we will talk about the big one now because they revealed it at Sony.
Yeah, they revealed it in Sony. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is getting its remake.
I want to say this right off the bat. Admittedly, when I was watching the Sony conference, it was at 9 o'clock. I was going around 18, 19 hours without sleep at that point, and I did dip in a few instances. I guess actually during Firewatch is probably why I didn't remember it. As soon as this was brought up, I woke up. You would swear I just had a caffeine shot. like directly into my veins.
Yeah, I love your tweet. You just said faints.
Faints, and everybody knew exactly what I was talking about.
Okay, I
Johnny, I will work again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like 10 years from now, whenever it gets released, just for our revisit. dude.
I think Ted's friend Catherine is right. It's going to be a 2017 release for the 20th anniversary.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like optimistically. I like to say that too. I don't know about that yet, but I like to think that too.
I have some extended thoughts, but I'm going to let all you guys say
Well,
what you think first.
Okay,
So,
well,
go.
I have Final Fantasy VII on my Steam. I need to play it eventually. My kind of, I'm happy for everybody who's happy for this, because again, a Final Fantasy VII remake is something that people have been whining about for years now.
10
Ever
years.
since
It was up
T.
there with the tease at the PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was up there with Half-Life 3 as kind of like the holy grail of missing games at the moment.
Yeah, my question is that Square was so adamant for so long about not
doing
remaking
that.
Final Fantasy VII. It makes me wonder how
Actually,
much confidence
in
they
case
have
of fin-
in their
in ca-
Final
in case of
Fantasy
fin-
games.
Actually,
Go on.
what
Josh.
I remember them saying was that if they remade it, they needed the right team on it. So they were really, really non-committal about whether or not it would actually happen.
I thought that
but-
they said something to the effect of, we want to make a game that we think surpasses 7 before we remake it, which I know Ryan will say
I don't
9
remember
does
them
that,
saying
but
that. I
does.
don't remember them saying that exactly, but they basically the entire summary was not right now.
Yeah.
And it was just really, fluffed up, sugared up talk to say not right now. Because, well, they made a tactical error, I suppose you could say, in using the opening of Final Fantasy VII as a tech demo for the PS3.
no, it's
Yeah.
You know what? It's the same exact thing that happened with the GameCube when they showed off that Zelda kind of thing for that. It gave people the wrong expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you saw Wind Waker instead of the Zelda style that they saw with the GameCube demo, and when you show off Final Fantasy cutscene and don't have plans to make a Final Fantasy VII remake, you give people the wrong expectation and it causes demand for something.
That's exactly what that was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, as well as in case of financial emergency, break glass Final Fantasy VII remake on the button.
Yeah, they only showed a CG trailer of it. I'm just wondering, what, if anything, are they going to change, and what does it say about their confidence in other
I
Final
got a feeling that's
Fantasies?
what Lewis is going to spend
Yeah.
95% of what he's going to talk about. But I'll say right now, because I know Lewis is going to take the show for like 30 minutes. I'm very excited about this because I've been playing 7 since 97. I still remember that day I got it as a Christmas gift that year. I was so stoked, and it was all I played for the entire Christmas vacation and then some, because I was just so engaged. I already played the hell out of 4 and 6 at that point in time. 7, I have a lot of memories with.
Oh wait,
Now-
hold on, John. I have a question.
What's up?
What did you think about the title of Final Fantasy VII? Were you really fucking confused? Like, what happened to the first, to the 4?
What happened to 4, 5, and 6?
Yeah, but that's all I got over that really quickly because it was another Final Fantasy game. I just wanted to play it. More on that later. But
Oh, sorry. Go on, John.
it's fine. Now, nearly 20 years later, it's getting an HD remake.
20 years, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
God, it really doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has been. I am so stoked for this because I want to see. Obviously, I don't want the same game because what's the point? A lot of people would be content with a HD remake of Final Fantasy VII just the way it was. Hell, you can even keep the Popeye models. Just give them really good HD textures. I don't want that. I want to see how they can make the story better, fleshed out, with their compilation stuff. To a lot of people, it's a stigma, because, there's a reason why people call it the complication of Final Fantasy VII, and not the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. I get that, because there are some things I don't feel were necessary to flesh out 7's narrative. But I'm also intrigued by how they can rework that to make it streamlined, to make it actually work within the story they set up throughout the past 20 years. I'm sorry, did I hit the wrong button? I was like, the fuck was that?
No, that was me just leaning back in my chair. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that was a really long...
This motherfucker.
The Velociraptor attack.
And for once, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have the floor yet?
I
someone
let me go.
Go ahead,
Go
Ryan.
ahead.
I'm excited about the game, if only because Final Fantasy VII is a good game. I'm not gonna. I think it's overrated as hell, but it's still a good game. So I'm gonna definitely give this remake a shot. I'm more excited because it does give me hope for further remakes. Nomura did say he wants to remake 5 and 6 as well.
So Ryan,
Wait.
what they're going to do is they're going to remake 5, they're going to remake 6, they're going to remake 7, they're going to remake 8, and they're going to skip 9 and then remake.
And they're going to
10
release
again.
another remastering of 10.
Yep.
If they remake 8, I'm
No,
going.
I doubt they'll. I doubt they'll skip 9 after they're doing all this for 7. Obviously not until probably PS5 days, but it does. It at least gives me hope that they'll someday remake 9.
But that's another reason why I'm also looking forward to this. It gives a new refreshing chance for detractors of the game to see if they might enjoy something with this one. Because I know a lot of people like Ryan who think the game is good but think it's overrated. I don't believe that, obviously, because I love the game that much. But if this remake does something that can make them see Final Fantasy VII in a different light while also keeping veterans entertained, then everybody wins.
Yeah.
I just loved how they revealed the game. They were just like, oh, by the way, here's World of Final Fantasy and this chibi thing, and then after that it's just like, oh hey, by the way, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh
drops
yeah, you're all
drops the mic and walks off.
Stop doing that! You guys are breaking perfectly good microphones.
Yeah, it was just like all happy-go-lucky with World of Final Fantasy, and then you get this dark, gritty story, and you think it's going to be something new, and then all of a sudden Final Fantasy VII, you're just like, John,
Yeah,
help.
the promise has been fulfilled. For those Final Fantasy VII remake, and the crowd just goes nuts.
Yeah.
I just love the trolling that this E3 had, just by both Sony and
Well,
Sony.
we'll get to
specifically,
we'll get to the other troll later, but
Yeah.
My childhood is coming back in full force for me, because I spent so many hours playing Final Fantasy VII, and I can't wait to play this.
All right.
you are good to go, Lewis.
Okay, I'm going to be, seriously the odd man out here among the people who've actually played Final Fantasy VII, not counting Ted, because he hasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until way later. I started
Well,
the
neither
series...
did I. Neither did I. I didn't play it.
Yeah,
It didn't
I started the series with 8. Yeah.
Nine
And
for
in
me.
retrospect, not a very good game, but I played 8 and 9 when I was a kid. I didn't come to 7 until later. And one of the biggest things I keep hearing about the game is that it doesn't deserve a remake. Okay, now you're just being petty. But my worry is the story, because there are certain elements of Final Fantasy VII that don't really that aren't blatantly inconsistent with the way they portray those same elements in later games, and I'm crossing my fingers and hoping against hope that they don't revert, that they don't
No emo cloud.
that they don't shove Advent Children down the game's throat, mainly. Because, Emo Cloud is another big one. That makes sense in the context of Advent Children. Yeah, I understand. Cloud is freaking depressed. But then, there was this producer interview for Advent Children where the guy talked about how fans of the game probably can't imagine Cloud smiling, and I'm just like, what? Really? What? No? That's not the Cloud I remember from the game. Cloud's portrayal is really weird in Final Fantasy VII itself because he's channeling Zack the entire time.
Yeah, because he's a psychological mess.
Yeah, because you don't really understand until way late in the game what's happening with him there. But it also means that he was more like Zack, and everyone who's played Crisis Core really loved Zack. And there's a certain aloofness at the beginning there, but there's also elements of this other character that are just interspersed in there, and I'm really worried about how they'll do that.
That is. No, keep going, because I know you got a lot to say.
Yeah. That and Shinra is the thing that I'm worried about the most, actually, more so than Cloud, because there's this misconception, I suppose, among both people who've played Final Fantasy VII and people who haven't, that the main villain is Sephiroth. No, he's more like just the final boss. The main villain is Shinra. They're the villain that you're interacting with throughout the game most often.
Yeah.
And it's their mess you're cleaning up with Sephiroth. So I'm worried the camera might shift, so to speak, from Shinra to Sephiroth, because that's where all the compilation of Final Fantasy VII stuff is. It's trying to develop Sephiroth and Genesis and Genova. What about Shinra?
That's a good point. That is definitely a good point. Again, but this...
I just hope they keep the whole lighthearted elements, like
Well,
obviously the whole cross-dressing scene and the
Well,
whole...
I think Nomura did confirm that the lighthearted elements of 7, and we're talking cross-dressing Cloud, threatening to rip off Don Cornero's testicles. I'm hoping the gold saucer shit doesn't get cut, because I want to mess up that play in HD.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? That's another thing. Final Fantasy VII did one thing right that the later games in Final Fantasy didn't do, and that's having a shit ton of minigames.
Yeah.
And I want them to update those minigames. Maybe add some new ones. Make that arcade a little bigger.
Yes.
Because there's like one game that unlocks every third of the way through the game. There's the motorcycle thing, the snowboarding thing, which hopefully won't be as jank this time, and then there's the submarine minigame, which I found a strange combination of boring and intriguing when I played it.
Intriguing when you're going out of your way to play it in the gold saucer. Boring for the plot reason.
Yeah, and it's like, improve that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't take it out is what I'm saying. Do something with it.
Yeah.
Because Final Fantasy VIII comes immediately after that, and all it really had was the card game. Final Fantasy IX was good about this. It had quite a few little mini games interspersed throughout, but they were mostly really simple stuff.
And the card game.
And the card game. They brought that back because it was popular, I suppose. It didn't really make much sense in the context of 9, but whatever.
Stupid hexadecimal.
Yeah, it's like we got this high fantasy medieval setting with chibi people, and they have a raging trade in trading card games. Okay, sure, why not? It totally doesn't make sense in the context of the setting, but whatever, it was fun. But Final Fantasy VII... the battle arena too. I really want them to do something new with that because I loved the battle arena in 7, but it was a little too simple.
Limited, I would say, is a better word.
Limited. Yeah.
I want more things to fight. Not just for the battle arena too, just in general. Because after Northern Crater, you finish all that and you beat Sephiroth, you really only had to look forward to the weapons, Emerald and Ruby, and Ultimate Weapon. For some reason you didn't go after him. I want more to fight.
It's really good that you brought that point up, though, because that brings up my other worry. Final Fantasy VII had a lot more individual monster models in it than Final Fantasies 8, 9, and 10. Each progressive Final Fantasy game after this has less and less monsters. I would really like it if they remade all the monsters in Final Fantasy VII, but I know they probably won't.
Well, we don't know much yet.
All we got was a trailer, and that we know what's coming.
Yeah, we don't know much yet, but here's the thing. I'm afraid they'll cut out a lot of the monsters because I think they can get away with it because a lot of it is just random battles in areas of the world map that you probably didn't visit.
People are actually wondering how similar they're going to keep the gameplay, actually. Like, whether or not they're going to keep it turn-based or not.
Well, you know what?
I personally hope to keep it a bit turn-based.
You
Maybe
know what?
add a bit more action-y to it, kind of like a Paper Mario sort of thing. Not necessarily that they'll do it that way, but...
No. Final Fantasy X-2. And, that's like saying I am a Satanist in the Final Fantasy fan base, but Final Fantasy X-2 had a really, really awesome ATB system.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
If it has to be something. If it's either the same, if that's fine, I would like to see it enhanced a bit. But yeah, 10-2, I definitely think set the standard for ATB for Final Fantasy games.
Set the standard, and then it never came back after that.
Well, because they set the standard.
Yeah, it's like they brought it back for 10-2, and then they never touched it again, except for like the DS remakes of Final Fantasy IV and whatnot. So if they're gonna bring the ATB back, I want them to use Final Fantasy X-2 as a template. Obviously, we won't have the dress-up thing going on.
No,
but even so. I also want them to improve the materia system, though, because the materia system has probably aged the worst out of all of Final Fantasy VII's mechanics.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite part about Final Fantasy VII, is how long it takes to get material grinded up.
Yeah. So, we'll see how that works. They did some fairly interesting stuff with materia and Crisis Core and whatnot, but never really all that deep. So, I guess we'll see. But, I just want Final Fantasy VII's remake to not be Final Fantasy 13. That's all I'm asking for. And it's like, it's strange for me to say that because I defend Final Fantasy 13 all the fucking time. But no, it has a lot of design problems, and they might... I hope to God they're smart enough not to do that again.
I will say, though, one of the highlights what that reveals, something you tweeted a few days ago, is what if cross-dressing Cloud was lightning?
Like literally lightning.
There's literally lightning, yeah.
No, because it's possible, because when they
When they revealed Lightning, they basically said, "Yeah, this is female Cloud."
Yeah. But when Lightning was new, people were doing face comparisons between Advent Children Cloud and Lightning, and they're really close, like really close. So just put him in a Lightning wig.
When it comes to 17-year-old Lightning, Cloud, you are the father.
To go back to something you said about like the Emerald weapon and Ruby weapon, it would be really cool. You know, we have Emerald, we have Ultima, we have Ruby. You know, what about a Sapphire weapon? Like,
Yes, great point. Like, what about that weapon we fucking nuked? like Judah nuked in the face with the cannon. Like, make that.
That was actually Emeralds, wasn't it?
No, that was Sapphire.
Oh no. Was there a Sapphire?
Yeah,
that's
the point exactly. It got nuked in the face by the cannon. We couldn't fight that son of a bitch. You know, like have its like. If you still gotta have that happen for plot reasons, then here's what you do. After it gets nuked in the face, you go into the submarine. You can still find its carcass in the ocean floor, and it comes back as a zombie. There you go, like zombie weapon. I'd love to see that.
Okay.
Although I gotta say the Emerald weapon fight is gonna give me more chills than ever.
Oh, good lord! I'd imagine going underwater with HD is gonna terrify the fuck out of me.
Yeah. And you know, I would say Omega Weapon, but Dirge of Cerberus stole that already. Fuck.
Do it again. that didn't count.
Yeah, and you know what? Dirge of Cerberus can just be fucking cut from the series, and nothing of value would be lost because it does nothing. It adds nothing. Weiss the Immaculate was worthless. He doesn't even talk. It's
Do
like
it again. Do it better.
you know. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, are you guys...
Whatever.
well, what I have to say has to wait until you guys are done with your Final Fantasy VII talk. I have very little to say because I haven't played the game
We
yet.
can seriously go into a whole new discussion with 7 Remake, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was another bombshell that was dropped right after that, too.
I love the game
Oh,
trailer's response
yeah.
from that, the video that I believe Donnie shared on Twitter.
Oh yeah, there was,
The feather just drops and the guy just freaks out immediately.
Shenmue 3. Yeah, let's just move on instead of turning this into our Final Fantasy VII impressions video. Shenmue 3. That was something I did not expect to hear. And you know, I haven't even played the Shenmue series, and I'm excited for it because I played the Yakuza series, and Yakuza was basically Shenmue's successor. But Shenmue has apparently gone without a proper story conclusion ever since the Dreamcast days.
14 years.
14 years.
14 years people have been waiting for this. And I gotta say, I'm really
and
happy.
it broke the Guinness Book of World Records for fastest to $1 million.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's already at like 3-something now.
Oh no,
Well, you know what?
The game's coming out without a doubt.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not fucking surprised that they got there the fastest though, because how many Kickstarters get E3'd?
No, it's also
Right.
it broke Kickstarter during the conference. Like people could not get on to pledge, which actually says a lot to it being the fastest to reach 1 million. That said, I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer here because it's what I do. I'm not gonna lie, it really kind of gave me weird vibes that Sony was announcing a Kickstarter during their E3 conference. Not to say anything bad about the game or the fans. I haven't played Shenmue, but again, it's a game people have been waiting 14 years to play. I can understand being excited.
Yeah.
I just,
And you know what?
I don't get, because honestly, it had a $2 million goal. That is not a lot of money in terms of game development.
Well,
it was basically Sony saying, we're gauging interest with this.
Yes, they're using the Kickstarter funds to see how much interest is in this. Because I think they just confirmed maybe yesterday that
Sony's publishing it.
Yeah, they're fully funding it.
Well, then why not just do that from the start, though? Is the thing. If you've
Because-
got enough,
Because they're a business company and they want to make sure.
but
Here's
if
the
they've
thing.
got enough confidence in the product to give it a full major spot in their conference, not only just a full major spot, but a full major spot after the reveal of Final Fantasy VII. Like most conferences, when they announce something huge, after that they throw in some filler stuff to give people a breather room to before they get into their next big thing. That's just how these things normally work. But no, they did Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3, one right after the other. They knew what
Drop
they
the
were
mic.
doing. So like, I don't know why they didn't just straight up fund it right there. Like that's the thing that bothered me.
Here's the thing. Shenmue 3 is for all intents and purposes, was a dead franchise on a dead system that a strong portion of the gaming community never had the system for in the first place. Most people I talk to when I mention Shenmue, they haven't played it. Present company included.
Yes.
So I can understand from a business standpoint why this would seem really, really dicey. Like, it's got a huge cult following, and they really think they could take advantage of that. But how much? How practical is this?
Yeah.
Is it best leaving it just Kickstarter funded because it's not going to get us that much in return?
The key word being there was cult following.
Yeah. But here's
Yeah.
the thing: even for a cult game, again, Sony is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. The $2 million that they asked for—that's nothing. That is absolutely nothing to them. They could have. They could have funded. They could have funded that on their own any day of the week.
Here's another thing, though. Shenmue is a very, very, very Japanese franchise.
Yeah.
Very Japanese. Like, have you seen the Yakuza games? They
I
take
know.
place in Japan.
I know it. It's
Yeah.
it's set in
It's pretty much
Japan.
the
You're a
same.
Japanese dude. You do a lot of
Not just a Japanese dude, though. A very obviously Japanese dude. And most of the time, Japanese games are anime style.
Yeah. No.
And, people have straight up asked, why are all people in anime white? They're not. You flaming moron. It's just, in the American market, I think Sony really underestimated how many people still want another Shenmue game.
Yeah, like within the first, I believe in the first hour, all the $10,000 donations were taken.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah. I saw an article on my Facebook that said something to the effect of "Man sells his kidney to pledge to Shenmue 3." I don't know if that was like a joke or not, again, it felt tacky to me. Is just the thing, and
I think everyone thought that was a little weird, but nobody cares because Shenmue 3.
I don't want to take away anything from the creators or the fans or whatnot, because
You're not making an observation I haven't already heard. Trust me.
I pledged to ukulele. I can't really fault people for being excited over the thing. I just that kind of the way the announcement rubbed me a little bit the wrong way.
It's a really, really odd segment. Yeah, you're right, but
Yeah.
Look, at this point in time, yeah, we get what you mean, Ted. And it should stress again, you're not bashing the existence of a Shenmue 3 Kickstarter.
No,
you're just.
I'm confused at that they announced it during Sony's major press conference. And
honestly, Ted, I'm with you on that. So you're not the Debbie Downer.
Yay!
Yeah. I don't know. It's an excellent point to bring up.
It's a very unusual situation with Kickstarter in general.
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm pretty sure, even without the Sony push, it would still reach its goals. No problem.
No,
Yeah,
of course it would.
Yeah.
If Igavania, Mighty Number 9, Yooka-Laylee, Shovel Knight, Shantae, all of these things made their goals. Now I'm sure it might not have broken the records that it did without the Sony push, but it would have gotten funded. No, I have no doubts about that.
Oh, no doubt at all.
Yeah.
What I find particularly interesting is that how easily Yu Hisashi is his name, or
the protagonist?
No, the producer.
The producer.
It's Yu something.
What about it?
That how easy him and Sony got the rights to Shenmue. Sega basically said, "Yeah, sure, here you go."
They're not doing anything with it.
Because they're not doing anything with it.
And
I know.
a lot of companies will just hold on to those kind of things out of spite. But Sega
that's what I'm getting at, though, is that
usually
there's still some hoops to go through, but Sega basically said, "Yeah, here you go."
Yeah, well, Sega is they've got the Yakuza franchise, and they're basically doing that thing.
Ours
Yakuza
better.
Franchise. That's a yearly series, okay? That is a yearly series. They're selling a lot of those in Japan. Like we're only just now getting Yakuza 5 a whole 3 years later. But yeah, it's just
The Japan's up learning like Yakuza 9.
Yeah.
Sega in Japan and Sega in America is like two very different companies. Sega is an arcade company over there.
I think it's just Sega's a pretty chill company in general. I think if they weren't doing anything, they didn't see any, and especially considering that this does look like a true passion project, I think that they didn't really see any harm in giving it to them, because it's not taking money away from them in this instance. So, yeah.
Well, whatever. It might even, increase popularity of the Yakuza franchise because people will hear, oh, the Yakuza franchise is sort of like a successor to these games. Maybe I should try those,
Yeah. Well, either way, Shenmue 3 is now finally a thing. Happy for all the Shenmue fans. I got to take the time to play the games myself. I was thinking of doing a Sega marathon later down the road, probably at the beginning of next year, where I would end it with Shenmue. Because, there are a lot of other franchises out there besides Sonic.
Yeah.
And I wanted to spend some time on those. So, yeah, now I got an excuse.
I just love how pretty much almost every rumored game that was supposed to be potentially happening before Sony's conference and all, like all three of the games, like Shenmue 3, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII Remake, all three of those were just rumors, and all three of them got confirmed.
Well, at the very least, Last Guardian and Final Fantasy VII had been rumored to show up for like the past 5 years. So,
If we keep predicting it, it'll show up at some point.
Yeah.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. But let's move on again. Yeah, these last two have been okay. We really need to force ourselves to move on to another topic. What's this No Man's Sky game?
Oh,
Please fucking deliver. Please deliver. It looks amazing.
Actually, I'm gonna be the odd man out again. I was less interested than last year. When I saw it.
I'm on Ted's boat too because I don't
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky was the open world.
The Universal Explorer one.
Oh, that one.
It
had fishes.
I still don't know exactly what it is we're talking about.
Basically,
that's my point.
It's a semi-randomly generated universe where you can fly around to different planets, and the planets are literally planet-sized, and so on and so forth.
It is a universal-sized sandbox game, Lewis.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing.
Like you could spend your entire life exploring this game and never find an end.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What am I doing in the game?
You know what? That just gives me flashbacks to Mass Effect 1's moon buggy, and
no, they didn't really show too much other than like you could destroy trees and these planet guardians would come after you and look, I'm in the water.
Both years they demonstrate
they showed the same. Essentially the same thing.
Yeah, this game debuted last year, just to emphasize that, and both times they've emphasized, look how big this game is. Okay. But what am I doing in this game? Scope is one thing, but activity is another. What am I doing? And both years they have failed to tell me that. So, I'm sorry, my interest is not the same.
All right, that's fair enough.
I get what you're saying, John.
I just look forward to exploring the galaxy and stuff rather than kind of being limited to a story in a sense. I want to kind of just build myself up and just explore a universe.
I fair enough on that. My first thought was Mass Effect 1's moon buggy because that was so monotonous that just thinking of an entire game of it just makes me go. But okay, it sounds like there's actual variety here. Randomly generated, very wary of that. But I'm going to look into this game more.
I'm actually reminded more of Spore than of Mass Effect. Have you played Spore?
No.
Okay, well, when you got to the space age in Spore, you basically just went from planet to planet and did shit for aliens. I'm thinking it's going to be something similar to that, if anything.
Can you draw dicks in that one?
You can make monster dicks.
You could make your creature look like a dick.
Well, let's
that spits acid.
Well, let's be fair. There's definitely a market for just you have a massive open world and a lot of freedom and do whatever the hell you want with it kinds of games. See Minecraft, but it's probably not going to appeal to everyone for much the same reason that Elder Scrolls doesn't appeal to Johnny. But
Yeah, but at least with Elder Scrolls and Fallout and other games like that, I get the idea that there are many things to do in that sort of game. No Man's Sky, besides exploring, I don't know what the hell you're doing in that game.
Yeah, there's not really a set thing.
Yeah, you always have an objective, or rather a handful of objectives in the open world RPGs. It's basically, have you ever played an MMO?
No.
No? Oh, well, there's side quests everywhere, and those side quests take you to other places
that have their
some
own side
distance
quests.
away that have their own side. Yeah, and you can completely ignore the main plot, but you're still doing stuff.
Yes, that's my
Okay.
So,
well, next up is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Did they show off anything new for this, or was this just a
Nope,
breather game?
it looks like Call of Duty.
Okay, so it was our breather game. 3 games too late.
Right. Disney Infinity, they just announced new characters and plots and characters and new stuff.
Buy our figures.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's Disney Amiibo.
Disney Infinity is like though it's a
Well,
it's a
Infinity's
fucking
been around longer than Amiibo, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
Skylanders, then
It's-
Infinity, then Amiibo is the
But-
chronology there.
But like I've seen Disney Infinity in action, and it's actually a really fun little thing. But it's so much money to waste.
yeah, I know
if you
it
want certain
shit, but
characters.
at the same time though, it shits out so much money with how much it makes because it's
Yeah.
it's
Oh, of
ideal
course.
for the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ideal for the kids, and you don't really care as much about the money you're spending on the collectibles if you like collecting them for collecting's sake as well.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, exactly, and it lets every little kid's imagination come to life. If you want Stitch and Wreck-It Ralph to team up with Spider-Man, you can.
Yeah.
they added like Star Wars characters recently as
That's
well.
Yeah, they had
Clone
Star
Wars.
Wars and
The
Star Wars
CG
and Marvel.
Clone Wars things. Yeah,
That's the newest expansion, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what they were talking about.
yeah. Well,
Because they showed more
revealed
Battlefront
that.
then during that.
They revealed that way before. I think it was on the cover of Game Informer at one point. After that, we have Uncharted 4.
Oh, the trailer that
More
they showed
Uncharted.
twice?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, a
yes.
game where if you literally do not do anything with Nate for a minute, it will reset the game.
Oh man, actually, that's probably just basic demo coding, but still.
Yeah.
No, like
Yeah,
Lewis.
no, they'll have,
the
like,
demo, like
the
literally
demo,
Nathan Drake did not move when the demo was starting, and then they restarted the whole thing again. To,
Oh man,
to get it
that's
go.
that's
Well,
that's
at least turning it
unfortunate.
off and turning it back on again actually worked in this instance.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because they'd gone so long in this presentation with what sounds like nary a hiccup. But Uncharted 4. The most I can say about Uncharted 4 is that apparently Uncharted 3's story was a bit of a mess. So I hope they do that better this time. But does it look like it's any significantly different than the other Uncharted
You
games?
can drive
Or
a
is it just-
truck.
Look, set pieces everywhere.
Yeah,
No,
no,
you know,
it's pretty much just a continuation of the
Yeah,
Uncharted
it's
series.
just like the thing about Uncharted 3, though. You bring up set pieces. That was the thing in Uncharted 3. They came up with a bunch of locations, they built levels, and then they wrote the story around it. And that's
Yep,
not how.
yep,
That's
pretty.
not how you do the creative thing.
No.
Yeah, and that resulted in a lot of story elements being clumsy as all hell.
Well, I didn't have much to say because I haven't got really into the Uncharted series just yet, so I got to give it some time.
Yeah,
Uncharted 2 being the apparently best one.
I didn't really care much about Uncharted either. It was the demo fuck up was funny, but other than that, like I kind of mostly tuned out the rest of the
Well,
demo.
I'm interested in another Uncharted game coming out, but I still haven't beaten the entire series yet. I know a lot of Uncharted 3 through Hayden, because he did several videos on it, I think. And I know I know Uncharted 2 is apparently really awesome, but I've been deliberately avoiding spoilers because I want to play it. And I played Uncharted 1, but Uncharted 1 has a really weird feeling to it. Like, you can tell just by playing it, it's very early PS3.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but Nathan lives.
Where's my uncarded? So that way we can finally move on to other things.
I would hope I would live, John.
Well, there's actually already 4 Uncharted games. There's Golden Abyss on the PS Vita, which is like one of the really good-looking Vita games that they released early. That practically looks the same as the PS3 games, but probably a little more contained. I played that for a while too. I liked it. I just didn't really like playing it on a portable system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what you're telling me is we're way overdue for an Uncharted.
Well, maybe that's what they were trying to hint at through that through the demo through the truck driving.
Well, there you go.
UTR, Uncarded Team Racing. Okay. Sure. Shall we move on to Nintendo then?
Oh boy.
Are we way to race another 2 hours of our lives?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about. Okay. Okay. Well, just generally, I think that a lot of the negative reaction was overblown. Personally.
Grain of salt and blissful optimism. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Well,
Ever the optimist, Nate.
well, let's start with what they did before their digital.
Oh yeah,
thing.
because the World
Nintendo
Championship
World
was
Championship.
Great. I loved that.
Well, yeah,
Walmart
and
card.
that does count because they announced that as something they were doing specifically for E3.
Yes.
I'm happy with what they announced before the World Championship.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Earth-
Mother
yes.
Beginnings.
Earthbound Beginnings, Mother 1, finally came out in the US.
Yes, they announced it and released
what is it? What is like 20-something year translation cycle?
Yeah.
Yep.
They announced it and released it in the same fell swoop. Out of nowhere, but, at an event like this, and given that it's their own digital service, they can get away with that. They also tried to do the same thing with Smash Brothers Ryu and Roy, but it got leaked the day before.
Because they uploaded their stuff to their website too early.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mother 3 -2.
Fuck. Yeah. The entire Nintendo made that day awesome. Like, not only did we get 3 new Smash characters, only one of which we were actually expecting, and a new stage, but we also got the Nintendo World Championships, which was 4 hours of pretty much nonstop fun. I emphasize
except for
fun.
Blast Ball.
Blast Ball
I
didn't look
emphasize.
that bad.
Well, I
I
think of all the games that they were playing, it didn't have as much of a pizzazz factor.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked
but
fun to
it-
play,
Yeah.
but
It was early on for a reason, I suppose, but I emphasize fun not because of the games, but because the entire the competition, the commentary, the whole spirit of the thing was so much lively fun and sportsmanship, and there was no like hardcore pro gamer get good kind of talk. Everyone was just having fun, and even the loser was smiling ear to ear at the end.
And they even brought in Mini Wheat.
Oh, that was he was a little he was
Yeah,
really weak.
and then they just channeled the wizard straight up by having Mario Maker be the final event, and 4 straight up awesome stages, like insane stages.
I follow
That
Proton
Bowser
John on Twitter, and he just when they got to Mario Maker and how bad it was, he just was a tweet that said screams internally.
You know what? Yeah, we all, especially we're all spectating. We all become the worst backseat gamers when we're watching. Because I actually I was so tired by the time the Nintendo World Championships were getting to the tail end of it. I couldn't watch the Super
Cosmo.
Mario. I couldn't watch Cosmo and John Numbers. Get to the finale, I fell asleep. But I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the rest of it, and I'm just like, what are you doing? It's like, do this, do that.
You're doing it wrong.
Like, just jump, Cosmo, jump, man.
Okay, I'm different in that respect because I thought they were playing really good compared to what I would do in my first playthrough of a level. So I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Yeah, but after the fact though, like I realized after watching all that, I you take a step back and you're reflective on what you've been doing. It's like I was really getting into that. I guess that means I was having a good time.
Well,
In my case,
course.
I was more along the lines of just laughing at the hilarious shit that they actually put in this game. At the stiletto.
I didn't watch the whole thing. Did they really have 3 Bowsers stacked on top of each other at one point?
Yeah.
But he went through a door. 3 Bowser stand there. Nope.
There was this one level that was sort of like a ghost house, I suppose, because you go through different doors and there are different things behind every door. Several of the doors were just straight up, nope, go back through the door. The moment you step through, and there were 3 giant Bowsers, not just Bowsers, but giant Bowsers,
shit.
stacked on top of each other in this really enclosed room, literally an inch next to Mario. As
How high can
you?
you-
Door.
how-
And Mario is
how
just
high
like,
can you get?
Nope, gone.
How high can you get?
Yeah, it's just like so much trolling in the level design. It was glorious, and that was the best way to show off Mario Maker. Okay, I was really psyched for Mario Maker. I'm not the only one. Pro Jared made this point as well because sticking Mario Maker at the end, having those 4 stages there, so much designer enthusiasm and player enthusiasm got me really hyped for the game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Mario Maker 2.
Yeah.
Not because I'm creative at all. I'm probably just going to
Yeah.
make a bunch of death traps or something. But
No. The good thing about it too is that you have to beat your own level in order to upload it, so it can't be too impossible. It has to be doable.
Hey, but you know what? Head Kaizo levels are beatable.
Yeah,
So,
but they're still good levels in their own way.
yeah.
But that was compare that to what they did with Mario Maker during the digital event. Not quite as engaging, more interesting in the context of we've already seen this game, but it's probably a good thing that they did the Nintendo World Championship event first, because that was a much better
and it's something I
reveal.
hope they bring back because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially for the Reggie Thinks Twitter.
I still love how one of the levels, because they were showing the menu and all in the one of the streams, like the show floor streams that were happening. I think it was game trailers or whatever, and they were showing off like all the menu and all, and you could see like a list of levels that were in there, and one of them was called Body is Ready.
Well, never.
Okay.
They show off that level on the Treehouse stream at one point. But no.
I also. Oh yeah, I forgot. I did read that those 4 levels that were included in Nintendo World Champions will be included in the final game.
There was actually a
We'll
really
all be able to play
heartwarming.
them.
There was actually a really heartwarming moment on the Treehouse stream where Treehouse developers actually came up with the levels in the World Championships. So during the stream, they had Tezuka and Miyamoto come up and say, "We're putting these in the official game." And the people, the Treehouse developers at that point, like almost broke down crying.
Oh.
It was really sweet. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I saw a couple people almost break down crying in the middle of E3.
yeah, like John.
Okay, not to dwell too long on the World Championship, Nintendo's actual conference has a really polarizing effect. The presentation was fun as all hell. Like,
Henson actually made
insane.
it was confirmed. Henson actually made the
Jim
Muppets.
Henson.
Well, yeah,
Productions.
they look. They look authentic Muppets, but
Well, Henson actually did a discussion about the creation of the Muppets
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
for him.
My
Yeah,
puppet
that-
body is ready.
I lost my shit when Reggie said that.
Yeah, and that was a really great opening too. As great as the presentation was, even I have to admit the list of games on offer and the presentation of the games, as far as information about the games goes, not so great.
It was mostly the new things because there's still a lot of great looking games coming out this year and early next year.
They just A, didn't show very many new things, and B, the presentation of the new things wasn't very good.
Yeah, well,
Well,
let's
yeah.
start off
Well-
with what I think is easily considered their best new thing, which was Star Fox, which looks great.
Yay!
Star Fox Zero.
All
Star
right.
Fox Zero looks amazing.
Speaking as someone who's never played Star Fox, only watched it through commentary with us, I think that looks really good. I think it looks really, really fun. And what impressed me the most is that it doesn't just look like another Star Fox game. Well, to people who
I fucking love the Chicken
wa-
Walker. The Chicken Walker had me
That was
laughing
from
my ass off.
Yeah.
that was from Star Fox 2, Ted. So it's not a new ID.
Well, it's not a
No,
new
it-
idea,
it-
but it was
But
funny
it's an
to
unreleased
watch.
one, yeah. It
But,
was
yeah,
interesting to bring that back, but just in terms of what they're doing with the gamepad and the overall way the game seems to play, I feel like I'm seeing more new stuff here than actual Star Fox players. I don't know why. It just looks. It looks like so much more consistently fun game.
That's what it is.
Than,
It's
say,
just
Star Fox
straight
Assault.
up from the get-go. Even though the game's not out yet, I think it's pretty safe to assume there's no bullshit in this Star Fox game. You're not traveling on foot. Well, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the walker mechanic looks great to me because it lets you travel
Yeah.
on foot, but you choose when you
You
do
know,
it.
it just
how
looks
you
like a
do it,
clear-cut
why you do it.
Star
That's
Fox
great.
game. A sequel to 64
Yup.
that we've all been... Well, yeah,
Well,
a
prequel.
prequel, sequel, midquel.
Well,
Yeah.
Somewhat
yeah,
reboot.
Super
There
Star
you
Fox
go.
64, Castlevania 4.
didn't they say this was supposed to be like a reimagining of the series?
Something like that.
Which is kind of
Yeah.
Inception
That's
like because
why-
Star Fox 64
Yeah,
was
but
already a
fundamentally,
reimagining of Star
it
Fox
just
1.
looks like the
Yeah, 'cause-
sequel to 64 that everyone's been yearning for a very long time.
Yeah.
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 That said, I thought it was really great for them to start the show with that because that was on everybody's minds at the end of last year's E3.
Yeah.
It was what everyone
Yes,
wanted.
so
It was what
starting to
everyone
show up
wanted
with that
to
was
see.
a really great move.
that-
on it.
Yeah.
I just, the thing I loved was that Iwata was Peppy, Miyamoto was Fox,
Fox.
Reggie was Falco. Poor Bill, he's probably sleeping.
Bill didn't get a Muppet.
Come on, do a barrel roll.
I
would do
really
better than
loved
that.
how you-
Watch this.
Yeah, I really loved how Iwata said do a barrel roll.
I don't mean to sound like a curmudgeon. I didn't find the puppet stuff that entertaining, personally.
Well, really, it was just that
Puppet
opening.
race party.
Just the opening sequence was really good. The other stuff that happened with the puppets in between game presentations
It made
really
great-
just served to keep things kind of from getting boring for me.
They make great gifts
From
though.
getting stale.
They
Loop-
just
they-
made him dance to stuff after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make
Yeah,
great looping gifts.
looking in that way, it's worth that for the laughs. It's just that I thought the robot chicken stuff was funny
Weakest.
last year.
Yeah.
You can't have the
True,
same
but
thing
I just
every
think
year, though, is the-
I think there was more of an attitude last year that led to really great jokes.
And you also got to think we all
Yeah.
have different senses of humor.
Yeah.
It-
It's just when I praise the Nintendo conference, I just praise it for being entertaining to watch. Not all of the games were. The second game was. I don't really care. Skylanders.
Oh, the Skylander, like, I was expecting them to do something with Amiibo. That really wasn't what I had in mind. Like,
Yeah,
the Bowser and
it's
Donkey
basically-
Kong figures look really fucking weird.
I don't know. I'm gonna get them because I really like the Bowser design, and I need a Conky Dong amiibo.
It's basically the video game collectible equivalent of Coke making a team up soda with Pepsi. Okay, sure, why not? I sort of. It looks okay. Like I kind of like the Lava Bowser thing, but I don't Skylanders, and I only get the amiibos because I like those specific characters and like to see them sitting on my desk. I never use them, but it is what it is. Making it the second entry in the presentation seems a bit weird. Like I feel like it would have been better to stick that closer to the end.
At least
Like,
in the middle for filler space, I think is probably
Yeah.
a better idea.
Yeah, but after that, Zelda Triforce Heroes, and I feel like I'm more excited for this than a lot of other people.
Oh no, that looks
But,
even.
Onama, we are sorry for the Zelda U delay. Here's a multiplayer game.
Well, yeah, but we already know that Zelda Wii U is coming out and that it looks really awesome.
I'll get more into that later.
Yeah, it's like I feel like a lot of people are unduly disappointed by not hearing about it here because
Well, the thing is, they said they recorded footage. They just didn't feel like showing it.
No, they wanted
Yeah,
to. No,
well-
what they said specifically was they wanted to show stuff that was going to come out this year, which I think it's an idea that has merit to it, but it also it does kind of. I think
Looking back on the presentation, realized that they didn't have many big things to show. This would have at least satiated
I also
yes.
Yeah.
I also call a bit bullshit on that mentality because, I mean, well, it's
basically
just,
no one does that.
last year we got the reveal of Zelda Wii U, and that's definitely not close term. That's definitely on the long run. And
Yeah, but
two
that's the-
and a
that's
half
the
years
only
ago
game
is
that
when we got
wasn't-
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Well, that game's also already.
Yeah, I know. It's just that I don't think that.
Oh, he's
mentality
talking about the
holds
reveal.
That much water.
Well, maybe, I feel like maybe it's them trying a new approach and trying to see how it works, but, you can never be sure how it works until it's done. And, that's actually a problem, because no one company is going to have that many heavy-hitting games coming out in 1 year, and trying to cram 1 year's worth of games into the E3 conference is just, as a hazard of doing so, it's going to mean there's less heavy hitters than other companies who don't hold to that 1 year standard. They're all going to mention all the heavy hitters that are coming out over the next X number of years, and you're sticking to just 1 year. You're not going to have that many. No, just not going to happen.
True.
But I do like Triforce Heroes.
Online
for sorts of
playthrough at some point.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do that.
Well, there's
But
only
there's
only three.
There's 4 of us, and there's only 3 players. Yeah.
Elimination tournament.
How's that going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Settle it in Smash. But yeah,
Ocarina
Triforce
of Time race.
No.
Triforce
No,
Heroes. It looks really fun, and I watched a lot of this. While you sad fools were watching Square's abysmal presentations, I was watching the Treehouse thing.
Yeah,
So
I watched
right
plenty of that.
Yeah,
I
I got
watched-
to see
I watched
Star
pl-
Fox Zero, Triforce Heroes, Mario Maker, and Paper Jam played straight up right after their. It was glorious. All of those games looked like tons of fun. Federation Force was okay, I guess, but not.
We'll
We'll
get
get
to
to it.
that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But
Speaking of Zelda, though, Ted, more grinding.
okay. Well, that announcement got leaked, so
Well, we have to talk about it here because they showed it.
I don't know what there is to talk about. It's just Dynasty Warriors with Zelda again, except on your 3DS, and with some 3DS connectivity with the Wii U version that lets you unlock the Wind Waker characters that should just be DLC for the
Now we can play as
Wii U
the
version.
king.
Oh, you know what? That looks
boy.
actually kind of fun because he's human and then he's a boat and then he's plowing through. Okay, but there's only so much you can say about Dynasty Warriors Chaos. And it's on the 3DS, so there's going to be less mooks around. Maybe they'll up the difficulty of the individual mooks. I don't know. But, it looks like... But, I'll give it this. Dynasty Warriors is fun enough as a popcorn game to survive as a portable game. I don't know if there's already portable versions of other Dynasty Warriors
There's
games.
a Dynasty Warriors game on the Game Boy Color.
What? Okay, you know what? On modern portable systems that can actually do the same kind of gameplay. John, are there any Vita ones? Or
I think
If
so.
there is, I don't
think
know about it
there's another one.
because Vita.
Vita, what's that? It actually has games. You know what? I will just for half a second. I will defend the Vita as a
sounds
JRPG
remarkably like the
platform,
PSP.
but that's about all of it.
Sega? No,
Yeah.
Sony didn't even say the word Vita throughout that entire conference.
Well, I think they had one small thing that was going to the Vita, and that was it.
Yeah.
Let me
it's
say
like
this
they-
now, going back to the Hyrule Legends thing. If you make a CDI color scheme for the king, I'll buy that DLC color techno.
I never did find out what was.
Good. Okay.
Great!
Yeah. And apparently
boy.
apparently the game is a reimagining of the Wii U game, which I suppose means it's going to have an alternate universe within the alternate universe storyline like the 3DS Sonic Boom game had. So, same general plot, different execution.
we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see.
That probably,
course, the game-
that probably just means that there's going to be Wind Waker stages added, to the story.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The game that got the most backlash by far is Metroid
What?
Prime
Take the
Federation
floor,
Force.
Johnny.
I kind of did yesterday.
John already actually did an individual video
Yeah,
on
John.
his thoughts, so you can just go watch that for his thoughts on it. My thoughts on it are I'm apathetic toward Federation Force itself, but I'm also not that big of a Metroid fan. I've only ever finished Super Metroid. I've played Metroid's Prime 1 and Prime 3 to about the halfway point, and then got sidetracked because goddamn they're involved. And I always forget to mention that I've also beaten Other M. It's so goddamn apathetic that I can't bring myself to think about it when I think of the series. But so I feel like I'd probably feel more disappointed if I were a bigger Metroid fan. But the thing that I'm worried about from a neutral standpoint is whether or not Nintendo is judging Federation Force's success and using that to decide whether or not there's a Prime 4. Because they're bringing back the Prime
it plays
brand.
Nothing. It plays very. It can't. This is not going to play other than the fact that
An executive in the marketing department who decides budgeting is not going to think like that, Ted. But the thing is that they're bringing back the Prime brand after 8 years out of nowhere, and I just can't help but feel this is their really shitty attempt at testing the waters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm worried that if this game fails, we won't get a Prime 4.
Well, the Prime director did say they wanted to make a Prime 4, so
They wanted to, yeah, but
We're seriously just gonna have to wait and see how this turns out.
yeah.
I don't have too many hopes because ultimately it doesn't look that good to me.
It didn't
kind of
look
looks like some
bad.
cheap. It didn't look awful, but it didn't look all that good either. I mean, visually it looked boring. Gameplay-wise, it looks like another kind of Prime Hunters with a better control scheme, which wasn't that interesting to begin
during
with.
the Treehouse stream, it looked like the guys playing it were having a lot of fun, but not any kind of different fun that you could have from another co-op shooter. So pretty standard stuff.
That and they're kind of being paid to make the games look good.
Well, yeah, but
so there is
guys
that
don't
overly cynical side of me saying, yeah, but they're kind of being paid to make the game look good. So I wonder how much.
Well, my thing about
but-
Nintendo though this year was that everybody seemed really earnest, like they believed everything that they were saying. So
Yeah, and it was the Treehouse guys in particular are so enthusiastic, like to the point where I look for them trying to fake it, and I don't see it. So, but that's the thing though. They have known about Federation Force for a while. They aren't being slapped in the face by it out of nowhere. They've known about it, so that doesn't. So that they know it exists. They're not going to. They're not looking at it from the same perspective as the fans who were just who was just revealed to. And that's the thing. Later on, by the time this comes out, will people have cooled
No.
off about it?
No.
to have
I
the
don't.
same
I don't think
mentality?
so.
Probably
Let's put it
not.
this
No,
way.
Probably not.
because people still rant about other M today, so I don't think that we'll be seeing the same thing.
No, well, you say that, but we still rant about Sonic 06, but we still have fun with
That's
the
a
newer
good point,
games.
too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the
I
thing.
suppose.
If
Yeah.
this was released, maybe I say 6 months, a year after a mainstream game came out, nobody'd be bitching. Nobody would be bitching.
Yeah. Or if they'd also announced a
That too.
mainstream game.
But the point is,
alongside
there's
it,
a mainstream
then,
game to
yeah.
accompany it. Nobody'd be bitching. The thing is
Yeah.
that it's been 5 years since the last
Yeah.
Metroid game, and that was what
8 years since the last
Yeah.
Prime game, which we're labeling
we
this
get
as.
like half the Kingdom Hearts fan base gets exasperated by every new spin-off they release, but they still have Kingdom Hearts 3 to look forward to, however long from
Yeah.
now that comes out. So same principle there, and I can understand why people are really off. The petition was silly, but I can understand why people are really not happy with this, and it doesn't help that what came in the presentation after that was Fire Emblem Fates, which we've already seen what they showed.
And which looks
except
like a
in
much
Japan.
better game.
It looks like a much better game, but they already showed the same stuff in Japan, so it's not really anything
Well, the game
new.
comes out in Japan next week, so.
Yeah, and then there's Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which I don't know what to think about.
It's
I mean,
Persona
I love
with
Persona.
Fire Emblem. It's Persona with Fire
Yeah,
Emblem characters.
But
Pretty
that's what mystifies me. I'm a big fan of the Persona series. I'm hyped as all hell for Persona 5, and I don't hype that easy, like honest to god hype. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem looks like anime, the game.
From what I've been
That's-
hearing, though, from people who have played the game on the show floor, that it is a really good JRPG.
Well, yeah, it's just like the presentation of it looks so stupid, and that's because okay, when I think Fire Emblem, I don't think anime the game. When I think Atlas, I don't think anime the game. Atlas is a company I can count on to keep their Japanese tropes in check. But this doesn't look like that. This just looks
I
like
have no
Let's go
emotional
trope happy.
response to
what the hell.
this one. I just,
Well, that's because you don't
Listen,
have much of an emotional
but not
response
even
to
like in
either
the.
Fire
I
Emblem
might
or
be
Shin Megami
curious
Tensei.
about this sort of response. It's more like there's nothing going on in my head right now.
Well,
I
Ted-
have like no interest in this
Th-
whatsoever.
this is jumping ahead a bit, but Ted said his reaction to the new Star Ocean game was that it looks like every RPG ever. Just from what they showed, rather, not from any knowledge of the series. That's my reaction to this, from what they showed. Looks like every other Japanese thing ever.
I'm just
and
surprised-
I don't usually,
Go on.
I'm not usually that guy who looks at Japanese tropes in games and goes, Psh. But there's a point where it's laid on so thick that it's just like, okay,
It's very.
Too
I
much.
think the thing about SMT Cross Fire Emblem is that it's very J-poppy because music in performance is a visual theme that they're going for. So there's
That
a lot
and
of
high
J-pop.
school.
There's a lot of alternate costumes. There's a lot of
Yeah.
anime hijinks and things like
My
that.
biggest disappointment, though, is that it's not the obvious crossover. Devil Survivor and Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that would have. It's just, to be fair, like that would have been the most obvious route. But I do like that they're doing something unique with it, and they're not going for just the easiest
It-
one because I don't think a straight crossover would have worked exactly.
It doesn't look unique, though. It doesn't look remotely unique.
Well, it would have been like it's not the easy answer, and to be honest, I think a straight up crossover would have been really weird tonally because
I'm gonna play it anyway, because obviously I have to. It's like two of my favorite RPG franchises meeting each other. But as far as what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like anything. I'm gonna have to play it and hope I like it.
Yeah.
And that's a really underwhelming feeling when you're looking at a game at an E3 conference. Unfortunately, a very common one this year, but it hit me the hardest with this game.
Well, at the very least, be glad that out of impressions that I've been reading, is probably the best game Nintendo has besides Star Fox on the show floor right now.
really that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing really good things about it.
Oh wow,
Well, yeah. Well, why didn't they show
Well,
some
then.
of that during the show? That would
it was already announced. Like, say what you will, like
show some gameplay, like not just trailer
Yeah.
shots of bits of gameplay, actual gameplay.
For what it's worth, like Woolly World aside, I think Nintendo was good about, for games that we already knew about, not showing too much. Woolly
Yeah.
World was really the only major exception because that game comes out in Europe like a month from now. So
Yeah. After this, we saw Xenoblade Chronicles X, which they showed enough of it to. It looks really cool.
Have fun, Emil.
Yeah.
he's probably already
It looks-
playing his Japanese version right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And, it looks really great, but I haven't beaten the first one yet. So.
First one is too damn big.
The second one's even bigger.
No, I'm not going to say too damn big, but too damn big for my schedule right now.
It felt a little bloated to me, honestly. You kind of have to, because a problem that I've heard people running into in Xenoblade is you can either do all the side quests and feel like you're not making progress, and also you're over leveled, or you cannot do the side quests and feel like you're under leveled. So
well, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is like the weirdest amalgamation of JRPG design mentality and Western RPG design mentality that I've ever seen. But it looks glorious, and I really want to play it. I just don't have the time right now in my schedule.
Yeah, it's also weird that Xenoblade and SMT Cross Fire Emblem are really the only RPGs on the Wii U right now that I can think of. Like, they're just...
Well, yeah, but hasn't that always been a weird problem Nintendo's had, that they have RPGs, but they don't have that many RPGs, just really, really good ones?
Yeah, they get, 4 really good RPGs per system. Unless if you're a handheld, because the DS has a million RPGs, but...
I really don't know why the hell handhelds became such a bastion of RPGs.
It's because it's because the old styles of gameplay can fit better on that. Like, for some reason, people don't mind if you do turn-based on a handheld. They mind if you do it on a console for some reason. That's really just it.
I don't really understand that mentality.
I don't either, but it's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, what the fuck ever.
Which is why I'm expecting when Nomura says he's going to remake 5 and 6, I'm expecting 3DS or...
I wouldn't mind that.
Kind of
I would be totally happy with that. Honestly.
Well, yeah, 5 and 6 getting the Final Fantasy IV treatment would be badass, but Animal Crossing, happy home designer.
People were really pissed about Animal Crossing for some reason, and I get that it's not a Wii U game, but I thought I can at least kind of understand the Metroid upset, because it's been a long time since there's been a Metroid game. New Leaf isn't that old, and
I think people just really want another
I think people were
to
expecting a Wii U
game.
Animal Crossing game, and it ended up being this Amiibo party.
Yeah,
they're wanting their next console Animal Crossing game, and Happy Home Designer and Amiibo Festival.
Yeah, I saw a more vicious response to Amiibo Festival than Happy Home Designer.
Because, I'm an Animal Crossing fan myself. I even have the N64 cart of Animal Forest.
Can I just say I kind of understand why we're not getting one? Because Japan, this is a Japanese company we're talking about, and console gaming in Japan is really on the decline, seriously on the decline.
We'll talk about the NX at the end.
Well, no, they didn't say anything.
No, I'm talking
about
this specifically. So. I'm talking specifically with Animal Crossing. Okay, it's.
You're taking that back. They care.
I'm sorry. I think my stepdad got back, which means the dogs are barking up a storm. But Animal Crossing has achieved strong success as a portable franchise. In the same way that Fire Emblem has achieved strong success as a portable franchise, we haven't gotten a console game in that series since the GameCube.
We had City
there's the Wii. There was the Wii, but now we've got we've got a 3DS game, we've got another 3DS game, and I'm willing to bet the next Fire Emblem will be a 3DS game or a 3DS2 game, whatever their next handheld thing is.
I guess it depends on whether or not you count SMT Cross Fire Emblem as a Fire Emblem game, but yeah.
No,
okay. I don't.
No.
All right. Okay, so much for that idea.
Even though it has Chrom with multiple belts on his face on it.
Yeah, but
zombie gimp Chrom.
But anyway, Nathan, I don't think I've heard you talk about Animal Crossing much recently. What did you think about Happy Home and Amiibo Festival?
Happy Home Designer pretty much takes the home building aspect of Animal Crossing, and that's it. When I play Animal Crossing, I like getting myself immersed in the world of anthropomorphic animals looking to me for favors. Don't
It's
ask why,
recreational.
it's weird. But But yeah, it's recreational. I don't play Animal Crossing to, honestly, I really don't give a shit about designing the interior of my home. Like, half the time I'm in space, or I'm in Japan with it, or I'm in my backyard.
Yeah, I'm more interested in putting shit in my home, not so much rearranging the shit in my home.
Well,
Right,
Animal Crossing is an RPG without the combat elements, basically.
Yes. Unless you're running away from bees or trying to catch bees,
Well,
then you have
that
bees.
barely counts combat.
But
that's highlight combat.
Happy Home Designer, it's just you're building. You're an interior decorator. You take the Happy Home Academy that they introduced in Wild World, for freaking scoring your interior decorating skills. And
it's Animal Crossing feng shui.
It just looks boring to me.
It's one aspect of Animal Crossing given its own focus. It's Animal Crossing Black Flag, but
Pirate Animal Crossing.
And then Amiibo Festival was just an even bigger slap in the face.
Oh,
because
y'all are
it's like-
figures.
Well, I've been hearing weird things about Amiibo Festival. Apparently, it's a free game.
I hear it's a game you need Amiibos to play.
It's a
Yeah.
but
You
if
need-
if you
yeah,
have
but the
if you
game
have
itself
free
is
game,
free.
but it's a free game, but you play.
Yeah,
it
so
with
it's a free,
Amiibo
not
figures
free
that you have to buy.
Animal Crossing game.
well here's
Yeah,
okay.
but,
Let's be honest here.
Granted, yes, I'm going to buy myself a Toto KK amiibo because it's freaking Toto
He's
KK.
fucking KK Slider. You weeaboo asshole.
Toto KK.
Weeaboo.
No,
Weeaboo.
no, they call him Toto KK in 2 of the Animal Crossing games. KK Slider is just his stage name.
You child!
That's
Okay.
Okay, well, basically, my point is that
This-
people don't play anything with these amiibos. Like, let's be honest here. I've got a fuck ton of these things. I barely use them. So you're gonna
Granted.
be getting
Granted.
the Isabelle, the KK Slider, the Tom Nook anyway. You're just getting a free game on top of that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is not the first time Nintendo's done a game like this. They've got Amiibo-specific free games already. There's like one sitting on the front page of my Wii U for some reason. I never looked at it.
Is that the Amiibo tab thing? Because that's pretty
It's like-
BS, honestly.
They're really, really pushing the you can actually play games with Amiibos thing lately, and I don't really get the sense that it's because buy our figures, because people are already doing that, like en masse.
yeah.
But they really want Amiibos to be like have an image of being an
Yeah, like
interactive
Disney Infinity
toy,
and Skylanders.
rather than just being a collectible that everyone. It's like I get the sense they're actually trying to move Amiibos away from the scalper image. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, right now, the people who mostly buy Amiibos are 30-somethings who really want this particular character.
Actually,
or scalpers
yeah,
who really want to sell a lot
It's
of
really
Amiibos.
it's really weird because actually during PAX when me and John went to go find him Sonic and Mega Man, I had my Peach with me just because I was having her at PAX, and a little girl said that she really liked my Peach amiibo. So I think there is appeal to these for kids, and they need a
But it's it's not really selling to kids.
Yeah,
because
that's the thing
somebody
though.
else
It's like
keep on-
that's
Yeah.
it's just another
Right.
problem. It's like
Right.
unless you meet enough supply to meet you make enough supply to meet demand. Games like this can be very unattractive to the core audience because. Say like those kids that are legitimately
Yeah,
interested in Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Well, they can't play the game because they can't get the fucking things. You know?
Well, I think
Yeah,
I think the Animal Crossing figures at the very least will be easier to keep in production because unlike say the Fire Emblem characters, they're not that detailed. You know, they're cartoony. They should be easier to make, and if they're going to make an entirely new line like the Mario Brothers line, I think that means more for them keeping it in production. And they're also not announcing anything limited like the limited run of Mario Maker 8-bit Mario amiibos. Like
Yeah, but here's another problem, okay? It's obvious that this is marketed mostly toward little kids, right?
Yeah,
Who's watching E3?
not little kids.
well, we could
Not
say the
little
same.
kids.
We could say the same thing about the mobile stuff too, though.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
but-
mobile. No, let's not.
But only to a certain extent. And there's an argument to be made for getting the hardcore console gaming audience into the mobile gaming market as well, because everyone has a mobile phone. Maybe not necessarily a gaming mobile phone, but a lot of them do have a mobile phone that could play a lot of these games. So trying to get them into the market is a smart decision. They're not doing it particularly well at all, but, the logic is
Yeah.
there.
I just, I think if people are going to be buying these figures anyway, and apparently the Monopoly mode that they showed is not the only mode that's going to be in this Amiibo Festival thing. So, I think we need to see more, but again, this is just sort of, I think that the reaction has been a little bit overblown, and that's just my take on it.
Especially since they just got a main title 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like
us Metroid and F-Zero fans are like, wait your turn, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone posted with Final Fantasy VII, it's Sirius Black from Harry Potter it says, I waited my time.
I understand what you guys are saying with that, and there is an audience for this thing. But
The audience better hope they can get their hands on an Amiibo.
Not you.
And I'm just gonna say right now, Isabel's gonna be the hardest one to get.
And see,
Yeah.
Isabel
that's
should
thing.
be
If they're
the one
if-
that they produce the most of. She's the Mario of Animal Crossing.
If they're going to make a game where you solely need Amiibo to play this thing, then they're gonna have to mass produce Amiibo in order to keep up with people that do actually want to play this. And I really hope there's a Rossetti.
Wave 2, Animal Crossing Wave 2.
God.
Alright, well, next up is Yoshi's Woolly World, which looks about as good as it always did. It looks really fun.
No, Yoshi's
but
Woolly World looks great. They spent too long on it for a game that's going to be out in a month in Europe. And is
Is it a month? I heard
September or October?
It comes out in October here. It comes out this month,
October,
doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It comes out soon, at the very least, in Europe.
Well,
I'm disappointed in the fact that they only made 3 color of Yarn Yoshi Amiibo. Why only 3? Because there's a lot of people that go for the purple Yoshi, orange Yoshi. All
Because
that.
they might make
It's
more
upset
of
that there's
them
no
later.
yellow Yoshi.
They might make more of them later. They might not have made all of the colors yet. You never know. But
Shut up, Brian.
one of my favorite
but
screen caps is the woman with the table of Yarn Yoshis in front of her. This is the entire retail shipment of Yarn Yoshi Amiibo.
Oh man!
But I think
that's actually
I
realistic,
think it's
but-
just a matter of keeping things simple, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it. I just
my
it just baffles.
impression of the Yoshi Woolly World segment of this presentation was, it felt more like something that would have been home at a Nintendo Direct.
Probably. Or if they had
Yeah.
shown it off last year when they were really... Because I don't think they spent too long on Woolly World last year. I think it would have...
Well,
if they had
yeah,
spent this much
but-
time on it then, it would have been fine. I think we would have been fine with the Xenoblade Chronicles X or SMT Cross Fire Emblem size trailer for Woolly World. That, I think, would have been acceptable. It's just...
Yeah, let's remind people that the game is coming out and get some hype going for it in the lead up to launch. But this kind of developer presentation would have been more at home in a direct like the month before it
Or
comes
hell,
out,
they'll have a direct
or the
dedicated
week
entirely
before
to
it
it.
comes
They did it with Splatoon and Smash Brothers. So
it's just... Yeah, it's like, at this point, it just feels out of place to me, and it was interesting stuff to listen to. I still think they shouldn't just straight up tell you that it's supposed to be a feels game. Feels are something you feel, not
feel
something
happy,
told.
Feels are
feel
something you
sad,
feel.
and
This game is fucking
well,
adorable.
no one is arguing
Oh, yeah.
the
Kawaii.
charming qualities of Woolly World. There is just
Yar
one
Yoshi
thing I
is
wish
cute
they were a
as
little
fuck.
better on, and that was the developer stories that preceded every time they introduced something they wanted to spend some time on, because that, to me, that killed momentum.
They dragged
for me
a little bit.
entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, put it after the thing.
Yeah.
But I think they... Did they put
They
it
put
after
it
or
after.
before?
They put it after the trailer almost
Yeah.
every time, if not every time.
Yeah, okay. So that's already 1 point over a lot of other presentations
Square,
here. But
square,
They-
square.
We'll get to it.
Just an aside, I was checking my Twitter. They have a picture of Yarn Yoshi with Yarny.
Aw.
Oh my god.
After Woolly World, we got a really weird addition.
It's not Pokemon.
Oh, Yokai
Yeah.
Yokai
It-
Watch. Apparently,
They're not
this is-
Pokemon
Yokai.
for the year.
Yokai Watch, according to Pro Jared, is really huge in Japan right now,
Yes.
and this
Yeah.
was the reveal that we're getting a Western release. But it's really weird because they only showed a trailer of it. That's the kind of thing you do when people know what you're talking about. Yokai Watch is weird in that sense, because how many people watching this in the West know what the fuck a yokai is?
Yeah, it's
I
you
do.
know what?
I
think
do.
they just kind of it almost to me felt like they were trying to make it a phenomenon right away, and that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Lightning in a bottle just happens,
No.
and you need to just kind of go with it.
You know, I know enough about Japanese crap myself, and RPGs and Pokemon style games to be interested, because it seems like a really cartoony Shin Megami Tensei concept, and I love that. That appeals to me, but it only appeals to my kind of person without, you know, actually expanding on it. And it feels like a lot of the time they devoted to, say, some of their weaker aspects, the Woolly World's developer story or the Amiibo thing, could have been set aside for actually explaining what the hell this game is to people who don't
What the hell
already
is a
understand
yokai?
it.
It's just a Japanese. John, you played Dual Destinies, didn't you? The entire second chapter is about yokai. They're just
see,
Japanese
I didn't like
monsters.
that chapter very much.
Yeah.
Oh no, that chapter wasn't very good, but you know.
Yeah, it's a very Japanese concept. Again, why you need explanation for it. But yeah, weird, not at all well presented.
Yeah, I just looked at it and it's like, okay,
to the
next one.
lineup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Speaking of next game, it's Ted's most favoriteest thing.
Okay, paper.
I'm really excited.
So
for
am
this.
I.
You guys are Mario and Luigi fans, though, is the thing.
No, I'm.
Yeah, I like both Mario and
No,
Luigi.
that,
I like
that,
both.
that,
Yeah.
that's the no. Here's the thing, though. I'm not a Mario and Luigi fan just in general. Like, it's just I played a lot of paper. I played a lot of Partners in Time, and
You played the worst
I know
one.
that's not. I'm not done. I've tried to play Superstar Saga, which people say is the best one, probably like 3 times, and I never get much farther than the point where you get off of that airship thing where like you sign up for Bowser's whatever it is, like you get the postcard and you land on the ground,
You got stuck at the border.
no,
jump.
the border jump. That's exactly it. I never get much farther than that, and what I played before that border jump minigame didn't get me hooked, and it's weird.
You got stuck at border jump, and that's where a lot of people get stuck and stop playing it. You can hear all about it with what Emil said.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of people get stuck. A lot of people get stuck at border jump, and that disinterests them from continuing any further.
It's funny that you're mentioning these two games, because isn't
If it's
Bowser's
not
Inside Story
Superstar
one
Saga,
everyone
it's
talks
Bowser's
about?
Inside Story
Yeah.
or Dream Team.
Or Dream Team.
It's just for me personally, like
It's got a slow start,
And
but it
let's
does
just put it this
eventually
way:
pick up. It's
the
just
border
like
jump in
Earthbound.
Superstar Saga is a legitimate problem with Superstar Saga. You know, if it turns
It's-
away people
Yeah.
like
definitely.
that, then yeah, that is definitely a problem with Superstar
It's-
Saga.
but that's not just it though. Mario and Luigi, in the time since we've gotten a normal Paper Mario game, a game style like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, Mario and Luigi has gotten 3 games. Okay, Mario and Luigi is doing just fine. Paper Mario, I like Super Paper Mario. That was an experimental title. I don't think they should have gone back to that. We got Sticker Star, which is just awful, and now we're getting another thing which is not another normal Paper Mario game. How hard is it to just make a standard Paper Mario game? Is my
At the same
is
time,
my
this is a
mindset.
cool
It's-
little compromise,
this
I
is-
believe. You know,
not.
I mean, I
really,
can
'cause it
understand
doesn't
your
play anything like a
frustration,
Paper Mario.
particularly because you're the bigger Paper Mario fan, and you still got that really sour taste in your mouth because of Sticker Star. It's just that as
just-
me and
and
as
also
Nathan or as Ryan here, who really enjoyed the Mario and Luigi series, except for Partners in Time, that's our Sticker Star.
Yeah.
It's just
No, Partners in Time is a video game, though.
granted, but you know, we as Mario and Luigi fans have something like that to Sticker Star that you have, so we have similar feelings in that regard. And yes, it does primarily, from what we've seen so far, look 75% Mario and Luigi, 25.
No, it's
I would
90
say
it's
75%
90%
from what
Mario
I've seen
and
so
Luigi.
far.
The combat.
I would say 75%.
The combat
it's
is
75%. Ted.
It takes place in the Mario and Luigi world, and the Paper Mario people have escaped from a book or something. And
Yeah, but the combat's all Mario
so-
and Luigi, and people have been saying, "Oh, they're the same thing." No, they're
No,
action.
there are
RPGs
similarities,
starring Mario, but they There are similarities,
There
but
are
it's like saying Mario and Sonic are the same thing because you run through levels from left to right and you jump on things.
You know something? A lot of people underestimate the technical differences between two completely different turn-based RPG series.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say right now, okay, a lot of people do get into the gameplay of these games. They're not, like stereotype would say, games you just play for the story. Because if they were, people wouldn't have played the original Final Fantasy, just saying. So, yeah, it might not be something that's entertaining to talk about necessarily straight up, but between two different turn-based RPG kind of setups, you are going to have significant differences in the way the games play. The same way you're going to have significant differences in the way the games play between two different 2D fighters, even though they basically have the same core elements going on.
Yeah, it's just, as somebody who's been wanting a standard Paper Mario for a good 11 years, this was not what I wanted, and
know how it feels.
I do know how it feels, but at the same time, I'm not gonna start a petition saying that the game needs to be canceled either. So.
Yeah, it's kind of the same feeling that a lot of people had with Metroid Prime.
Well, I got told off for making that. No, I wasn't. John made that same comparison on Twitter, and he got told off for that because apparently, I don't know reasons, but yeah.
Because people.
I'm not allowed
think
to be
Mario...
as angry about Paper Mario as you guys are about Metroid. So whatever.
Because Mario and Luigi is supposedly good enough for the... Because a lot of people make the unfortunately wrong assumption that the Mario RPG fan base is a singular entity, and it's not. There you have your Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo fan base, you have your Paper Mario fan base, and you have your Mario and Luigi fan base from more modern times, you know? They're not the same sub-series, and they also don't always appeal to the same people. You get a lot of fan base crossover, obviously, but not all the time.
Yeah. So,
One thing I'm really looking forward to about this, though, is they combine both Paper Bowser and Bowser's personality into this game, and those have to be two of the best highlights of the RPG games. Is Bowser's personality in that?
Yeah, another reason why Sticker Star was bullshit.
game.
I won't touch that game.
Don't. You're saving yourself a lot of heartache, dude.
After that, of course, we got Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which
Called it.
I was surprised actually. I thought they were gonna do another Mario sports game, but they just did a Mario Tennis not that long ago. And we haven't gotten a Mario Baseball in a while. We haven't gotten a Mario Strikers in a while. I was expecting one of those.
That's funny, because Mario Tennis is like the one you always hear about, the one a lot of people have played. But the ones that I like I don't hear as much about, say, Mario Strikers, but I hear a lot of good things from the people who actually talk about
Mario
it.
Strikers is fucking awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So I've never
fun.
played it, but the people I know who've played it are really crazy about it.
I love the Mario sports games. I think they do what they need to do just perfect. Like, I spent a good 150 hours on Mario Golf this past summer.
Yeah, it's like... But, like, on the other hand, Mario Tennis, I don't hear nearly as much, passionate praise for the series, but I guess tennis just sells better?
I don't know what it is either. But
it's like, it looks fun. I'll give it that. It looks like a good mascot tennis game. It looks like, super ultra omega mushroom giant tennis looks amusing, but
it looks like every other Mario Tennis game, just with a couple new features.
I just what I'm just hoping for when it comes to this is solid single player content, because my favorite Mario sports games are Mario Baseball and Mario Golf. Excuse me, Mario Golf World Tour. And why I like those games so much is that there's a really, really expansive amount of things to do on your own. Like, these games are fun on multiplayer, but I keep playing them. I play them on my own as well. So that's what I'm just hoping for, is that this game has a good single-player component.
I kind of feel like with a lot of games, people underestimate how important that thing is, because, it's great to have competitive multiplayer and all, but where do people practice when they're not playing with multiplayer?
Definitely.
In the single-player stuff.
The reason why I revisited and I keep reaching back into the well with this one, but Mario Tennis and the Game Boy Color.
That's the RPG one, right? Mario Tennis is actually the Mario Sports series I played the least.
Where Mario is the final boss. That's like
Yeah,
no Mario characters.
it was.
appear
And
until the
it
very
sounds a
end.
little weird, but in terms of single player content, it kept me entertained, and I had a lot of fun with that one. So, yeah, I'll give this a shot.
Again, it's just not an
No,
exciting
it's
announcement.
Mario
because
Tennis.
It's Mario Tennis.
Yeah, it's like if they announced another new Super Mario Brothers game.
Oh no, that would
someone
have
wants to.
no. I think that would have gotten a little bit more attention.
It would have
than-
gotten a little bit more. No, you know what? That wouldn't have gotten very good attention because they also have Mario Maker in the context of this thing. But I'm just saying, like, at some point, if things are frequent enough, people stop caring as much about the announcement when it happens. So unless they showed off something really impressive about the game, people would have say, yeah, I'm gonna buy it, but I don't really want to see it here all that much, Of course, they revisited Super Mario Maker, which we've already talked about, but the presentation during the digital event wasn't quite as interesting.
I like looking at the graph paper they used for the original drafts, though.
Oh, I'm like kind of sort of trying to get into game design as a passive hobby. But so that kind of talk interests me. Like I went with Ted to game writing panels at MomoCon, and that was that. Like I was listening to that while people were getting up and leaving, but and that kind of stuff. I don't like. I love that kind of stuff, but not very many people do. And I guess the people who are interested in Mario Maker would be interested in hearing about that stuff, but. The problem with the digital event presentation was that it assumes you already had interest in Mario Maker.
Well, Mario Maker
I guess is the big
Mario
problem.
Maker does look like a lot of fun to do, and apparently
It looks excellent.
Yeah.
and apparently the I didn't go to the Best Buy thing this year, but apparently
So
the
am I.
turnout
I'm going on Saturday.
I can't go on
Yeah.
Saturday, unfortunately, but apparently the turnout on Wednesday was higher than expected. So,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the World Championship show off of
Yes.
Mario Maker was excellent. The Treehouse show off of Mario Maker was excellent. The digital
So
event
far.
show off of Mario Maker.
They had more
yeah.
time placed into
Yeah.
that little
Yeah.
30th anniversary tribute they had at the end of the digital event, which was cute.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I think that lukewarm is actually probably my opinion of Nintendo's conference overall. Honestly, like I didn't think it was the worst thing ever. Nintendo has certainly had worse conferences.
Yeah,
It's ju-
Wii Music.
Never forget
fuck,
2008.
Go back. If you go back and watch that, seriously, you will wish for a million Metroid Prime Federation forces.
Yeah, the thing about Nintendo's conference is that it was really fun to watch while it was going on because their presentation was so lively and earnest and all of that. But after you've cooled off of the fun factor, you start to think about what was actually shown, and it wasn't as good, But you
Yeah,
know what?
like-
Better that than what Square did, because
Well,
fuck if I don't remember everything that was shown in Nintendo's conference. It was memorable. Everything in there stuck in your brain.
Square had the
We'll
worst
For better or
conference.
worse.
We'll get to Square. Let's let everyone get their thoughts on Nintendo out of the way.
Ted, you say
Ah.
lukewarm, I say
yeah.
underwhelming. No,
Yeah,
I
I'd say
think
fairly
lukewarm has more of
underwhelming,
a
but overall
positive
it was-
connotation. Underwhelming, I'm going to go there because and it's not just because of Federation Force. I am not that petty. I don't want to be that petty anyway. It's just, I felt I've seen all this
after-
before, except for Star Fox, obviously.
Well, you have
Yeah.
seen all of that.
But
before.
I was really happy to get
Uh,
to see the Star Fox stuff. Everything else, I was just okay, all right.
Yeah. To me, it was the
Not as
same. It
much
was
to
the
look
same
forward
as
to.
Xbox. It was fine. Nothing terribly interesting, but nothing really bad. It was fine. The only thing that concerns me is that there is a severe lack of new. Besides Star Fox, there was a severe lack of new Wii U stuff, which leads me to believe I'm probably going to call it now. NX, all the main products besides Zelda Wii U have been moved to NX.
That would not
Yes.
surprise me if they were even casually working on, say, F-Zero.
Or a Metroid game.
or a
It's all,
Metroid,
it's all going to be moved to NX, and that will be released
Yeah,
next year.
so, you know what? And to be honest, I think that's not a bad idea because that would ensure a strong launch for the NX, and
Well,
fuck if
That's the thing. That is a good point, because the NX, whatever it is, needs
a strong launch.
Because it's late. It's late to the ball game. It needs to have a library.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
so
it's going to die.
Yeah, but at the same time, it also pains me to say that the Wii U at this point has now just become a sacrificial doll.
It's a shame too, because there's plenty of good games on the system.
The game, it's the same problem that happened to the Wii. It has a bad gimmick that no one wants to develop for because it drastically raises development costs.
Yeah, it's a shame because I love Hyrule Warriors, I love Mario Kart 8, I love Smash 4, I love Splatoon, I love Pikmin 3. There's great games on this system, and it's just a shame that
that's the thing though, because you'll probably also be able to play all those great games on the next system.
I hope so.
I'm assuming that the NX is going to be backwards compatible, and the Wii U gamepad will be playable with it.
It won't be the forefront.
Make sure that happens.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it won't come packaged with it.
Yeah, that's my bold prediction for the CE3.
Oh god, I just realized something. It won't come packaged with it. The Wii U gamepad is fucking expensive.
No, the Wii U gamepad. I think they were talking about this slightly when people were wondering if you were able to have two of them. They said that the Wii U gamepad on its own would be like $100 or something like that. So. Yeah.
I've looked up, just in case I break mine. I've looked up prices for replacing the Wii U gamepad. It's like, ugh.
After we had the all those 3 bombshells were dropped in Sony's conference, the first thought that came to my mind is Nintendo is they're prone for making bad conferences, but they're also prone for making really good conferences that really can compete with Sony and rival them. But the main thought I had about Nintendo's conference was that, well, digital then anyway, but the main concern I had was that it was going to be underwhelming. And that's exactly what it turned out to be for me. I mean, the Paper Mario, the Paper Jam game, I liked it, and in the live commentary I did for the conference, I actually did get really excited for it because I didn't expect something like this. But it was another one of these conferences where the more I thought about it, the more really couldn't compare to Sony's in that sense. Sony's definitely did better, and it didn't have much to offer.
It didn't have much to offer.
Game.
It didn't have.
There was more. It
didn't have much to offer.
Let's be fair.
Everything that we've seen there was stuff we've already seen before. And if you're already interested in that stuff, then you're having a good time regardless. It's just that it's same old, same old.
Yeah, I stand by what I said, that trying to cram exactly 1 year's worth of stuff that's going to release in a short amount of time undermined the interest level of the games on presentation. They still managed to make the conference memorable by making it entertaining. Like I said, even if you didn't like the games on offer, damned if you don't remember every game that was in there. I guess that's the extent of my thoughts here. I really loved the fun factor of the presentation. It just between the Treehouse, the World Championship, and the digital event. The digital event was by far the weakest.
I did like how it was later mentioned that the little Muppets that they made were actually made by the people who did the Muppets.
Yeah, we covered that, Donnie. Get with the program.
I didn't hear that part.
Yep.
Slowpoke.
We talked about it when we first started, but yeah, they did look very authentic as far as Muppets go. So I wasn't surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Honestly, pretty much what I said at the beginning. It was lackluster. It was underwhelming. It was lukewarm. Whatever you guys want to, whatever other pronouns, adjectives you want to say for it, but. Being the person that I am, I took this entire E3 with a grain of salt and blissful optimism. There's a lot of stuff that excited me. There was a lot of stuff that disappointed me. There's just I just have to wait and see and experience it for myself to get my
I think we all go into E3 optimistic because you want to hear something you're expecting. I don't think anybody goes to E3 hoping, God, I hope this is a train wreck.
Actually, I saw a lot of people on Twitter that went into E3 expecting.
Then those guys are playing E3 bingo.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about here's the thing about E3. Okay, every E3, without fail, you're going to get a large and very loud subset of the audience that complains that the entire conference was a train wreck, because it was boring or there was nothing new in this conference or that conference, everyone is going to say everyone there did terrible. And I think that gives the gaming community an unfair reputation for being altogether unsatisfied with E3 every year, which is not entirely true. But the ones who are unsatisfied at the end of the conference are the loudest.
It makes everybody seem really whiny and obnoxious.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of whiny and obnoxious people. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not everybody is like that. I understand. It's just, you can understand how people would get that impression sometimes by reading comments and seeing that Federation Force within seconds.
I'm not with those.
A higher dislike ratio than.
And the funny thing is, I think a lot of people seem to forget that E3 isn't everything that's coming out for this system or that system. It's just the stuff that those companies want to highlight. Those companies want to put the focus on. We're not just getting all the stuff that was released for Nintendo. Other stuff is gonna come out.
Yeah, and the other thing is that that every given company is going to have stuff in the works that they might want to show, they might think is better to show, but they don't have something good to show at E3 for that project yet.
Or it might be
reminds me a lot of the next company we're coming up to.
Oh, are we gonna just shift over to Square? Because honestly, I think out of everybody, Square easily had the worst conference.
One last bit of Nintendo. Bill Trinan just posted a picture with the Massey. Yay!
In my opinion, it was actually a mix. I think it was a tie between Square Enix and PC Gaming Show as the worst.
I don't think the PC Gaming Show counts because they didn't really announce anything there. But
PC Gaming Show is a whole nother animal, and I want to talk a little about that before we close. But Square Enix has a good list of games that I'm really looking forward to here.
The presentation was awful.
That's about all I can say.
Why are we making this game? Just cause.
Just cause.
3.
I love the Just Cause trailer where it's just like, this island lives under a dictatorship. Look at all the stuff you can blow up. Wait, you're saving the town, I swear. Yeah. Just
chaos everywhere. Blow shit up. Have a grappling hook. Blow shit up.
Grappling hook!
I also love Square's conference was so fucking boring.
I tuned out at the end. After Final Fantasy
I tuned out.
I just stopped
5-6 times, which is unfortunate for me in the case of one of them. I don't know what game they're promoting when the guy came in with the damn mask on. Was that NieR?
Oh, that was NieR.
Imagine me. I'm switching tabs because I want to see how everyone. I got more reaction on fucking Twitter than I did with the Square Enix panel. But I come back and switch tabs, and that thing is staring me right in the goddamn soul. It's like, fuck you. I did not come to this panel to be scared.
You know something? I think the boringness of Square Enix's panel might have just given that more punch by contrast.
Well, the fact that no one brought any attention to it. He just walks up with it on. No one brings any attention to it, and they all just kind of accept it. It's like, okay, is no one going to talk about this?
It's the odd mask in the room.
Yeah, it's like, but oh man, where do I begin? I don't know enough
Neither
about
do I.
Like,
that's the thing.
To talk about
like,
either of them.
Neither do I.
People got really excited when NieR 2 was announced, but as somebody who's never played the original NieR,
exactly.
I have no idea what the hell.
Why should I,
showing.
the general consumer, be excited for this? And I didn't do anything for me.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and it's like the game itself, okay? I understand people are excited for it, and I've been interested in the NieR series for a while, but if the presentation, the conference itself, doesn't sell it to the people who don't already know, it's a failure. And that's
yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much... Okay, you know what? Let's jump ahead again. I mentioned this. Ted said he found the Star Ocean trailer to be really generic-looking in terms of JRPG-ness. Is that right, Ted?
Basically, they didn't show any gameplay stuff off that made it look different.
Stand as an example of what I mean, because the Star Ocean series, in terms of pure gameplay, is one of the most unique JRPGs out there.
I've been interested in the old Star Ocean games for a long time, and this is what the hell even was the what was it? Integrity and Faithlessness? Oh my god, the Square Enix has awful subtitles. Jesus.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, okay? This was a perfect prime opportunity to show how unique this JRPG is compared to other JRPGs. Show off the gameplay. Give it some pizzazz. And Star Ocean, God knows, has enough of that. And even if it has a rock-stupid plot and rock-stupid character names, Edge Maverick, Fate Lawn God, what the hell? But they just don't. They just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Just show trailer shots. Sure.
The thing about like E3 that it's not just about the games, but a press conference is also a presentation, and if it doesn't present a game well, I'm not going to be that intrigued, or I'm just going to be bored and want something else.
The problem also is that everybody at Square talked for about 5 minutes before they showed anything, and they all sounded so fucking bored. There was the one point where the
translator gave up.
Translator fell asleep. I forget what game it was for, but the translator.
Which you could also take as like a punchline is like.
No. It was. He was talking about Kingdom Hearts, but then he goes into the Final Fantasy VII Mobile and 7 Remake. Like, you could clearly hear him say Kingdom Hearts in Japanese, and the translator did not say anything at all during that. I was just like, what am I listening to? I'm so lost. I hear Kingdom Hearts. Oh, there's a Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer again.
They spent that whole damn conference teasing and trolling everyone who were there for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh no, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna show Kingdom Hearts on mobile," and then they show off Kingdom Hearts 3, which does look good, but it's just like.
Hey, look! Now another game you're gonna have to play on a mobile / handheld device that's gonna tie into the story and it's gonna make things even worse.
It's canon.
Oh, you know it is.
It's not VCast. At least it's not VCast.
Stop! Stop it!
You know what? I don't mind. Okay, I don't mind the spin-off stuff as long as they don't do what Chain of Memories did and be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't make it canon.
What the hell's going
just
on?
Making
at the beginning of the next game.
let it be a spin-off for spin-off's sake.
Okay. Canon is a completely different beast than Prologue, and that's what Chain of Memories was. It was a prologue to Kingdom Hearts 2. You had to play Chain of Memories or look up its plot on a Wikipedia entry. In my case, you had to play that to know what the hell was going on for the first 3 to 4 hours of Kingdom Hearts 2, and that pisses me the fuck off to this day. Even though I love Kingdom Hearts 2 to pieces, you know? And it pretty much stands as an example of why I don't give a fuck about Kingdom Hearts' story anymore. I just know it's going to be really addictive on a gameplay level.
Oh,
and the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that I watched looks like the next step in that evolution. Okay? The environments look beautiful. More to the point, environment traversal. And I know we're just sort of going all over the place with Square's presentation here, but fuck it.
We're pretty much streamlining it.
Yeah, the first thing that I can... The only complaint with Kingdom Hearts 2 that I can bring up is that they really downsized exploration and platforming. Like, you're just going from room to room fighting. And it's a damn good thing that they got the combat system so goddamn right in that game, because otherwise it would have been boring. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like they're really ramping up the exploration and openness and jumping around, running around. You've got a lot more running speed.
Yeah, there was that one shot where
Sora's
jumping over a canyon, and you can land on all. Like, Jesus Christ, this looks like such a well-designed compromise between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
Oh, yes. And all the stuff that they showed for Kingdom Hearts 3 looked amazing. I'm still baffled by the fact that Sora can shit out Magic Kingdom attractions.
They're probably the summon spells. You know?
Okay, I was okay with the whole Thunder Mountain train thing of epileptic, the disco train. But why does he shit out the pirates?
Say, Sora, you want to ride the
teacups?
teacups?
Come from?
I am the teacups.
No, it looks
I'm
like
waiting
the
for the
Keyblade has like
small world summon. Just sitting a little riverboat and going.
Bonus points if it does bonus damage to Scar.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. It looks like the Keyblade has a weird transformation thing now, so that's probably where it's all coming from.
Yeah, because it turns into a gun.
Wait, they've got gun Keyblades now? No, Square.
No,
that's
no,
where I draw the fucking line. No, What it does is it turns into some sort of weird. I don't even know what it looks like, and it
kitty
shoots
blasters.
Yeah, it shoots like a shower of laser ball blaster things into a crowd of enemies, and you get a crosshair for a special attack. It's basically like a Final Smash, as it looks like.
Bad, Nomura.
Well,
Bad.
to be honest though, Lewis, is the Keyblade has always changed based on the keychain that you hook into it. That's why you get the different Keyblades. But now it's adding transformations of it turns into little pew pew pews.
Yeah, but you know the thing that it reminded me the most of Final Fantasy XIII's
icons. I can. Yeah. I
the weird Transformer summons. Yeah, those.
Am I the only one that thought Ericus looked really weird as a young person?
Yeah, exactly.
Who? I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about the story, so I haven't been keeping up with the spin-offs.
What about the Disney executive?
That's like the convoluted plot makes so much sense.
It was his fault the entire time.
It's Hyperdimension Neptunia before Hyperdimension Neptunia, but we didn't know it until now.
One thing I just hope
I'm looking forward
is that from the gameplay trailer I've seen, it looks like they're bringing back flow motion from Dream Drop Distance. I hope it's nerfed. I honestly hope it's nerfed. Flow motion was the main combat mechanic they introduced for Dream Drop Distance, where it was pretty much Sora and Riku can just do all kinds of parkour shit by hanging on walls, grinding rails, and jumping from place to place. It's really weird where in the beginning of Dream Drop Distance, you're about as mobile as you were at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah. And it just made battle a joke. Like an absolute joke.
Parkour!
And I felt there was no challenge.
Yeah, they gotta balance that shit. But this is not a spin-off that crapped out in a year and a half of development time. This is a game that they've been working on for years and years and years that probably worked out those kinks by now, or at least have made great progress. Because I get the feeling that in the development of this kind of thing, the combat system and the enemies are the first things you do, and then you design the rest of the game with those things.
My only question is, when's this game supposed to come out? Because
we don't have a release date yet. It's just at the end of the trailer, now in development.
Yeah, because that's the kind of thing that they announced last time they showed Kingdom Hearts 3, which was 2 years ago.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced ages and ages ago. We got to see CG stuff, but we've had a really long period of no significant gameplay or even cutscene material for Kingdom Hearts 3 before this, and that is partly why, in spite of Square Enix's horrible conference, people are still really excited about this because we've been wanting to see more of it for a long time.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced 2 years ago.
Yeah, but
it had no show last year, and
so I'm kind of wondering is this ever going to come out? It's
going to come out, but I believe they said it's going to come out after 15.
And that was missing.
Really weird. I was surprised about
and
that.
Sony is 15.
And you know what? Kingdom Hearts did the same thing the Persona series did, where it just between two games on the PS2, it skipped a generation, and now it's on the PS4.
There's a rumor going around that Kingdom Hearts 3 may be coming out in winter of 2016.
That seems...
Well, yeah, you kind of hear rumors about that all the time. But yeah, 2016 sounds like a reasonable time for it to come out, but we just can't tell at this point. And we've also got Final Fantasy 15 to look forward to in terms of this, but we didn't see anything about that this year, and I'm surprised. But
probably held off on it because they released that big demo for it earlier.
Yeah. That game I'm kind of expecting to come out before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, they already said that. They already said that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, same team, same general gameplay style. Great time to get hype going for Kingdom Hearts 3. You liked Final Fantasy 15? We got more of the same here, only probably a little bit better.
More Disney.
Because we've been developing it longer,
Wait, that's been in development longer, and Final Versus 13/15's had how long of a development hell?
No, Versus 13 is one of those games where the development team, got reassigned during the thing to other stuff. Okay. So it's been quote unquote in development
since the dawn of time,
the beginning of the PS3 days. But they haven't been working on it for that amount of time. They've just had it on the back burner for a long ass period of time. So I'm willing to bet during the development, a lot of these shit that they showed off at the beginning got thrown out. it's one of those weird development games, but I'm glad they at least brought it back and are doing something with it, because out of the Final Fantasy 13 mythos stuff that they seem to have given up on that gimmick, Final Fantasy Versus 13 looked
I'm looking forward to it.
impressive.
I'm just surprised it wasn't given a little more attention during this conference, because God knows this damn thing needed it. Final Fantasy, is it Final Fantasy World of Final Fantasy? World of Final Fantasy.
No, it's
Final
the world
Fantasy.
of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I typed
Also
that in
known
wrong.
as basically their attempt to get new people into the franchise and making a beginner-friendly game, it seems.
It looks
I'm-
cute and
I'm
stuff.
looking forward
so,
to it.
yeah, like
And it looks like it's taking place inside those like twins' minds.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? I can totally get with this game. Do you know why? Because Final Fantasy's been too fucking complicated. A simple game will do it good. And that's weird to say when people shit on Mystic Quest so much for being too simple, and that's the black sheep of the franchise, but Final Fantasy didn't really get super complicated until 8. Then it stopped being super complicated for a game, and then
it went all downhill
Final
from there.
No, it's like every game after 9 had to have a new gimmick. They reinvented the wheel so many times since it started, with mixed success. I am one of those minority people who for the most part, liked Final Fantasy XII. Although I can't go back to it after Dragon Age, because Dragon Age just has so much better menu interface for combat. But Final Fantasy XIII had a really super gimmicky combat system, which I have fun with. But I understand why other people don't. And after that, it's just not even counting the MMOs, because those are practically a different series entirely, even though they have the Roman numerals at the end. And now, Final Fantasy 15, they've just sort of given up on Final Fantasy, and it's Kingdom Hearts with another.
hey, at least we have Bravely Default. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a strong case toward what I'm saying, because Bravely Default, at its core, is just Final Fantasy V. you know. A whole 8 games ago, they're going back to the basics, and people love it. It's not just because nostalgia. It's because on some level that combination of complexity and simplicity is just the charming element of what makes JRPGs go in general. And when JRPGs try to get too weird with their mechanics, it drives people the fuck away. Like, I'm sure Resonance of Fate is a really good game. I hear a lot of great things about it, but I couldn't play it. It just too many weird ass mechanics I couldn't get behind.
I'm trying to think of other things about Square Enix. Is that I love that they tried to get away with showing the Final Fantasy VII remake trailer again with nothing new, as if that there was their own announcement. It's just like
no. I'm looking at this list of games, and you're sure this is in order, right?
Close, if not the exactly in order, close to it.
Okay, so we have Final Fantasy VII Mobile, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts Mobile,
Final
Kingdom
Fantasy
Hearts 3.
Mobile, Hitman.
It's like an echo. I hear a parrot.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after the world of Final Fantasy.
I
stopped
started
watching
zoning
Square,
out
so I have nothing
completely
else to say
around
about this.
Hitman.
Okay. That's unfortunate, because after Hitman we've got Deus Ex, which is a really good RPG series.
Never
Deus
asked
Ex,
for this.
it seemed kind of ham-handed. The Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It seemed like its social commentary was really kind of ham-handed to me. From what it.
Well, yeah, but presentation versus actually knowing the series. Deus Ex.
It seemed like a really good X-Men game. That's just what I'm saying.
Well, like I say, presentation versus actually knowing the series, and that's echoed twice here with these two next games, Deus Ex and Star Ocean, two really good RPG series, getting new games. Excellent, amazing, really looking forward to it. What did you do to sell that to new people? Absolutely fucking nothing. Thank you for that. Now I feel like I have to constantly explain why these games are good whenever people ask about them. I don't know as much about Deus Ex as I do about Star Ocean, but I'm still looking forward to the Deus Ex one. Star Ocean, man, I feel like I'm gonna have to be apologizing like a freaking evangelist for Star Ocean for the next for however long it takes for this to come out. I don't even know what project Setsuna is, though.
Tokyo RPG Factory. You mean Square Enix?
For Project Setsuna, all they did was show concept art.
Ah.
That's literally. It's not even. I couldn't even do my CGI only trailer count. I had to do concept art only trailer count. So.
What? I don't understand that. Did they even talk about what the game
No.
was?
Nope.
No.
Why?
All they said was that we have a new team called Tokyo RPG Factory and they're making a new game.
Okay.
That's it.
That is less than you give to a Kickstarter campaign,
Yeah.
okay? That is a Kickstarter campaign that failed before it was out the door.
Yeah. Basically.
So we spent
Yes.
time on Rise of the Tomb Raider, I guess.
Rise of the Tomb.
Also
we
known
skipped
as
over that.
the
didn't
sequel
we?
to How Many
Again.
Ways Can We Fuck Up Lara Croft?
Yeah, you know, it seems like they're keeping to that theme, and now is not the time to emphasize that. You already had your time with that theme in the first Tomb Raider reboot game, and you know it was already a little ham-handed there just from the first 10 minutes of the game. It got a little more balanced as the game went on, but you know it was the weakest. No, not the weakest, but the most irritating aspect of the Tomb Raider reboot for me was how. They were frickin' edgelords with how much bad crap happened to Lara Croft in that game. And it's a damn good thing that the game as a whole was so good, because that might have shut me off right there. But because you're trying too hard to make this character be taken seriously.
I
just let it
love how
happen.
I believe one of the selling points for this game in particular. We brought the tombs back.
We brought the
We're
tombs
putting
back.
the tomb back in Tomb Raider. Yeah, guys, you forgot the entire fucking point of the series on, did you? That should never, ever be a selling point for something called Tomb Raider. We're putting the tombs back.
You know, I don't shit on the reboot too much for that. I did think it would have been interesting with more in-depth tombs, but I understood why they weren't a major focus at that point in the character's, you know, development arc. Now that they're back, great, good. Just the presentation of this game that everyone is already looking forward to anyway, so no harm done.
Don't you think the reboot should have been called Rise of the Tomb Raider?
No, because in the story-wise, Lara Croft hasn't really reached her stride yet by the end of the game, and now that she's after that first survival scenario that she had to go through, there was a variation of that in her instruction manual backstory of the original games. But after that, after she's out of that, now she's going off and, you know, voluntarily adventuring. That is Rise of the Tomb Raider as a title makes sense for that. It's kind of an awkward title. It's like they're trying to avoid using the number 2 again because, well, I guess they don't want anyone confused. But I just don't like the title as a whole. It's weird.
Well, I'm just expecting Dawn of the
Ted, you
Planet
took
of
my
the
damn
Tomb
joke.
Raider next, so. Yeah!
Yeah, but you know, I'm really looking forward to it. At the same time, you know, they aren't doing a very good job of, you know, making me excited for it, just in the terms of how they're selling the game. And you know, it has that Xbox One timed exclusive thing going on. It's like, okay.
Oh, they didn't even
I'm gonna
mention
wait for the
that really
PS4
at
version.
at Square.
No, because I fell asleep.
They might have brought it up at.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah, but they brought it up during
Last
Microsoft's
year.
conference too, didn't they? And we skipped over it because, like, we were gonna say no. I mean, like, they brought it up at this year's Microsoft. Yeah, there it is on the list. Rise of the Tomb Raider, right after Ion, right before Rare Replay. So they brought it up as something that they've got for their console. Great, I suppose. It makes about as much difference to me as the PlayStation 3 having exclusive Pull Over the Joker DLC for Batman Arkham Asylum. Actually, I'd say it makes even less difference to me. So I don't mind waiting for Rise of the Tomb Raider. Okay, I love the Tomb Raider reboot, but it's not that huge game for me that I have to have day one, you know? I'm going to want to play it eventually, but I don't mind waiting for it to show up on the PS4, unless I just happen to get an Xbone before then.
Yeah. So, was there anything else from Square we forgot to talk about?
No, I think we've actually gone through the entire list, including Hitman, which we
I was
gave
never
a
a fan of the
resounding
series,
meh.
so.
I'm going to say I've gotten slightly into the series lately because I got one of the games or two of the games off PlayStation Plus for free. It seems interesting, but also not my kind of interesting. So, you know, I'll give the new one a shot, but I'm not expecting a whole lot. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, so E3 as a whole this year.
Eh.
It was, you know, there's buried under the lackluster presentation in a lot of cases is a lot of good
Oh no,
stuff.
I'm gonna have games to play. It's just this week has been exhausting. So
Yeah, it's like Nintendo stood out for me because it wasn't boring to watch, and Sony's stands out, I suppose, to a lot of people for the same reason. I have to go back and watch that presentation properly.
Sony,
But
I
for the
don't
most part-
know. It was paced better than most of the other conferences. I think it's just the they had strong titles is the big thing about them.
And Bethesda was interesting because they have a very few games that people are really, really looking forward to. And Bethesda is a developer that people trust to do good stuff. Elder Scrolls Online notwithstanding. Microsoft, they did a fairly good job of having good content, I suppose. And then we have Electronic Arts.
Pele? Your thoughts, Pele?
Ubisoft, so.
Soccer is a beautiful game.
Yeah, it's just kind of it was a press conference, and that's the overall impression I'm getting from this. It was a press conference. Okay, it basically just exemplifies why I don't have any pre-E3 hype, and why I wasn't there for the pre-E3 discussion, despite me having a lot to say after the fact.
Can we get like a commentator ratio? I think Lewis was clearly 85% of this entire discussion, which.
Well, I love talking about video games, but, I don't like talking about press conferences. And that's all you really have to talk about before E3 is, will E3 be good? I don't care, personally. I just
Lewis
want
is
the
pretty
games.
much going to say you guys are miserable.
And there's a lot of games... Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it's for better or worse, there's a lot to talk about on this list here, and I enjoyed it.
I think in the sense of the conferences themselves, it was definitely the low point in terms of, the whole affair, but... In terms of the games, I'd say it was probably one of the best E3 lineups we've had in a while. Maybe not the best ever, but definitely one of the best I think we've had in a while. Just on the basis of just the many bombshells that were dropped, and there's still a lot of shooters, but I think it's been somewhat cut down.
So it was a boring week to be a gamer, but it's going to be a good few years to be a gamer after this.
Speaking as a mostly Nintendo fanboy, I'm gonna have plenty to play over the next couple
Hell,
of weeks.
I got
so I can't be
fucking
too upset.
Arkham Knight coming out next week, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got Terraria, that's all I need.
Donnie, play something else. No, not Sonic. Put that down.
By the way,
it comes out
did
next
we get
week.
any Arkham Knight stuff?
They had
we got a
I'm
short
glad they
thing at the
didn't do
Sony
that,
thing, but they
because
didn't
it's
show
coming out
much because it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that it, because
Closing
this is going to be a
thoughts?
pain in the ass to edit since it's it's 3 hours and 45 minutes total. Shit. Yeah, we're ending this now. Executive decision.
Executive
on
veto.
uploading it.
Executive
Belay
order.
that.
Goodbye, everyone.
PC
Veto.
Belay?
Where?
Veto?
No.
No.
Closing thoughts,
I
anyone?
think we just did
I've
those.
already given mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did
Oh,
those.
I've
Yeah,
given
just
mine.
Okay,
Okay.
bye guys.
Okay.
go.
Go home.
This has been the most
They
slapdash
probably
thing
watched
ever.
this at home.
4 hours.
Later.
Bye.